Welcome, Patriots, to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and tonight we're bringing you news so explosive, so game-changing that big tech doesn't want you to see it. That's why you need to share this stream right now. Text it to your friends. Bypass the algorithms completely. And for our ex-viewers, repost this to your followers immediately. We need every Patriot watching what's about to unfold. We're streaming live to millions worldwide on YouTube, Rumble, and X, so make sure you're following us on all platforms because they can't silence us everywhere at once. Unless, of course, you're like maybe Alex Jones, sadly. But what sets the Raw Feed apart? Well, we don't just report. We interact with you, the viewers, getting your real-time reactions to the day's events. Your voice matters here. Now listen up. We will be reading your Super Chats and your Rumble Rants between segments, featuring them on screen for the world to see, so send them in right now. I just saw one from Chris. Dropped $2 already. We are already out the gate. Got $2 for the Alex Jones was right jar. Let's go right into it. Boom. Here we go. Boom. Okay, so send them in right now, even before we dive into today's bombshells. You want to support the show privately? We'll hit those donation links in the description. Every dollar helps us fight the information war. And if you want to show off your favorite news source, check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and wear your support proudly. Plus, join our YouTube channel memberships for special perks, exclusive acknowledgement in the chat room, behind-the-scenes uploads, and access to our members-only 24/7 Discord server. Yes, I actually join from time to time, and we actually have video chat with all the family from Next News. You're going to meet the viewers and people in the chat room face-to-face. It is a really unique experience. Now, folks, we're in week 18 of Donald Trump's historic return to the White House. Tonight's news proves why America needed him back so desperately. And speaking of historic returns, let me take you back to May 28th, 1987. On this day, a young German pilot named Matthias Rust did something nobody thought possible. He flew a small Cessna aircraft through Soviet air defenses and landed in Red Square, completely humiliating the communist empire's military might. One brave individual exposed the weakness of a system that everybody feared. So today we're witnessing similar David versus Goliath moments. Ron DeSantis just flew his own Cessna straight through the Federal Reserve defenses, signing a bill that makes gold and silver legal tender in Florida. Just like Rust exposed Soviet vulnerability, DeSantis is exposing the Fed's paper money scam. We've also got some news on consumer confidence, just hit record highs under Trump. Americans know real leadership when they see it. The majority now says we are on the right track, a complete reversal from the Autopen Biden disaster. Trump's big, beautiful bill promises tax cuts that supercharge the economy just like it was 2017 all over again. And also in the Oval Office today, Judge Jeanine Pirro took her oath as D.C.'s new U.S. attorney. The woman who revolutionized victim protection, who built the first domestic violence bureau, who prosecuted real criminals, not political enemies, is now Washington's top prosecutor. Swamp rats, better lawyer up. But the biggest scandal might be what everyone's calling Autopen Gate. While Biden was checked out, somebody was running the country with a signature machine. Congressional subpoenas are flying, whistleblowers are talking, and every fake signature could mean prison time for the puppeteers who hijacked our republic. And if that's not enough to make your head spin, Google has just unleashed VO3, an AI so powerful it creates videos indistinguishable from reality. Weather disasters, political speeches, news reports, all fake and all absolutely perfect. We're entering an era where nothing you see online can be trusted. Absolutely nothing. How do you even know that I'm really me? That I'm not just some AI-generated figment of someone's prompt? I guess you won't really know. Unless you send in some super chats and you can prove it, right? Well, tonight we're connecting all of these dots. From Florida's monetary revolution to Trump's economic miracle, from Pirro's war on crime to the Autopen coup, from AI-generated deception to the restoration of our republic, every story tonight is about one thing: the battle between real and fake, between truth and lies, between freedom and control. And just like that brave pilot in 1987 exposed the Soviet lie, we are exposing the establishment's deceptions every single night. So stay with us. This is the Raw Feed, where truth still matters, where your voice is heard, and where the real story gets told. Let's welcome you to the show now. Who is in the house tonight? Lots of folks here. I see you all coming in. Jeremy Olson, Gary is real and he needs a haircut, he says. Yes, I do. Save the Frog. Sabrina's here. Pothead Kenny. Lish in the house as well. Lord Rhodius. Autopen Madness, says Pothead Kenny. Mrs. Pothead Kenny is here. TJ's here as well. Who else is in the house? We got Mongoose. We got Craig. We got Lori Newland in the house as well. Let's see who else is here. Hi, bye guy. James Adkins from Northwest Florida. Remember, when you sound off in the chat room, make sure you let us know where you're watching from. Your city, your state, your country, especially if you're watching overseas. I really enjoy seeing all the people who are watching America from afar, from wherever you are. Looks like we got Villain. Just dropped a $5 bill right into the Alex Jones Was Right jar. Thank you for that. I'm going to put that right now in the jar because that's what we do here. Oh, wait, another one. Wait, and another one. Drop 2. N3 After Hours, he says. Watching crew live collectively, all members welcome on N3 Discord anytime. And then he also said, my Autopen is out of ink, and HP said they won't deliver more until I sign a new contract. That's funny. That is funny. Okay, so we got $10 we're going to put into the jar right now. A couple of 5 spots. And I can already hear Todd cringing as he watches me stuff these into this little slot here. Yeah, Okay, yeah. I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. Just take the lid off. Okay, we'll do that. Right. All right, there you go. Oh wait, squeeze a lot. Okay, dropping $10 too. Look at that. Thank you for that. Squeeze a lot. Okay, let's count this super chat cash coming in hot. What is he saying here? Except Gary, he says, you have very individual body language. Critical thinking changes body language. So does speaking the truth in Memphis, Tennessee. I love Memphis. Oh, I love Memphis. What is that? There's a really good fried chicken joint there in Memphis. Oh, yeah. I remember we went there. It was so good. Like the best fried chicken you'll ever eat in your life. I mean, I don't know what they do to that stuff, but it's absolutely amazing. Okay, we got news to get to right now, and I don't want to keep counting all this money, but you guys can send as much as you want, and I will read whatever you send. So keep that in mind, all right? All right, let's get into the first topic. Okay. Yes, Brian's setting something up before we move forward. Okay, Tom B 420 dropping a 10 spot as well. Sweet. We are moving right along with the super chats already. Boom, here's $10. This is Tom B 420's $10 bill. Thank you for that. Dropping it right in the jar here. Okay, did you guys hit share yet? Did you guys tap the link? Did you text this to your friends? Confirm you did so by just dropping a 1 in the chat room or in the comments below. Because clearly we are being censored, as is pretty much the way it goes. I do have to get into, before we go to this topic, we do have our trivia question of the night. How could I forget our trivia question? Okay, let's play it. Here it is. Which U.S. president took America off the gold standard, making it illegal for citizens to own gold coins? Was it A, Franklin D. Roosevelt, B, Richard Nixon, C, Lyndon B. Johnson, or D, Jimmy Carter? We're going to get the answer after this segment. So stay tuned and drop your answers in the chat room, in the comments, or you can just simply tap the answer in the poll. All right. They said it could never happen. They said the Federal Reserve's monopoly was untouchable. They said states had no power to challenge the almighty dollar. Well, Florida just proved them dead wrong. In a move that has Washington elites panicking and central bankers sweating, the Sunshine State just fired the first shot in America's monetary revolution. This is not about politics. This is not about party lines. This is about your money, your savings, and your future. And what Governor DeSantis just signed into law changes everything you thought you knew about money in America. The implications are massive. The establishment is terrified, and what happens next could determine whether your life savings survive the coming storm. So stay with me. Now listen, Florida just prove that gold and silver are real money again. And here is why that matters for your savings. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half its buying power. That Federal Reserve monopoly that DeSantis just challenged, well, while Florida restores constitutional money, you can protect your wealth the very same way. Gold holds its value when paper dollars collapse, and that's why I trust Noble Gold Investments. They understand what Florida understands. Precious metals are real money. Okay, they make it simple to convert your declining dollars into physical gold or silver. No high-pressure sales, just honest guidance about protecting your wealth from inflation. And right now, when you open a qualified account, Noble Gold will send you a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar. You can see it right there on the screen. I was talking to Colin today. I'm waiting for mine to come in the mail. So you can get yours by going to nextnewsgold.com. Or you can call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And when you call and ask for Colin, tell him Gary Franchi sent you. Or just call him and tell him how much you love the Next News Network. Either way. Because Florida is onto something. That's nextnewsgold.com. And speaking of protecting your wealth, yes, Florida just handed every American a blueprint for financial freedom. Governor Ron DeSantis put pen to paper on HB 999. Think about that. 999. I love it. Like 999 pure gold, right? Making gold and silver legal tender in the state of Florida. No more sales tax on precious metals. Full electronic payment capability. The first major state to restore constitutional money. Well, let's take a look at some breaking news of the announcement that has the Federal Reserve scrambling. This quick report lays out exactly what just changed in Florida's monetary system. Watch.
Just hours ago signed a bill making the coins legal tender. This legislation allows but does not require their use for payments, including taxes and fees. Government entities that opt into accepting these coins must do so electronically and partner with licensed financial institutions. The bill also exempts gold and silver coins from sales tax.
Tax-free gold and silver that you can actually spend. That's a game changer for every Floridian. Now watch, here's Governor DeSantis himself making the historic announcement. This is the moment the Federal Reserve's monopoly started cracking. The first major state to recognize constitutional money. Watch.
The bill I'm going to sign today is legislation that is going to allow Florida to recognize gold and silver as legal tender in our state. And we have the ability to do that under the federal Constitution. There are only 2 states that have done it thus far. They're smaller states. We are the first large state to step up and to get this done. And this is right out of the Constitution of the United States. So this legislation will authorize money services business like check cashers or PayPal to transmit and accept payment in gold and silver. That means these precious metals can start functioning like real currency again, not just investment vehicles for the wealthy. And you notice what's happened in recent weeks and months. How has gold gone down or has gold gone up? Gold's gone up big time because investors are looking at this and they're hedging against, they see the bond yields have gone up. I think they moderate a little today, but when people start seeing that, gold is a place they're going to. So it's not just an investment, it'll be something that you're going to be able to use, and it's something that is very likely to hold its value, certainly compared to fiat currency. Now, we've seen the downgrade in the credit rating over multiple administrations. We've seen a lot of problems with the DC swamp. This is our ability to give you the financial freedom to be able to protect yourself against the declining value of the dollar. And so I'm really appreciative of the legislature for doing this. I think this is something that shows Florida is continuing to lead on a lot of the issues that matter to people, and I look forward to signing this into law momentarily.
So there it is. Real money returns to America through Florida's front door, and Washington can't stop it. But here's what makes this revolutionary. Government entities that chose to accept gold and silver must do it electronically, partnering with licensed financial institutions. We're not talking about carrying gold coins to pay your water bill. We're talking about a modern digital system that recognizes real money. DeSantis took to social media to drive the point home about why this matters for every Floridian fighting government overreach and dollar devaluation. Brian, bring up that picture. This is what he posted on social media. HB 999 financial sovereignty. That's what he posted. It's really beautiful. I'm excited for this. I mean, think about it. The timing couldn't be more perfect, though. While Washington prints trillions, Florida offers citizens an escape hatch from dollar devaluation. And
breaking news from the Sunshine State.
Ann Vandersteel broke down exactly what this means for the future of money in America. Watch.
Breaking news from the Sunshine State. Florida just made history again. Governor Ron DeSantis has officially signed HB 999 into law, cementing Florida's bold stand for sound money principles in an era of inflation and reckless federal spending. That's right, HB 999 recognizes gold and silver as legal tender. Kind of sounds like what our Constitution has been screaming about for 250 years. And yes, this is giving Floridians a choice beyond that fiat fake green stuff, challenging the Federal Reserve's monopoly. Folks, we are going to take down the Fed because this law is just not symbolic. It opens the door to parallel economies, private exchange networks, and state-level sovereignty over monetary policy. And as Washington, D.C. prints trillions, Florida's taking action, bringing back trust, tangibility, and constitutional money. Is this the beginning of the end for the Fed? I think so. Or is it a first step in a national gold and silver revival? We'll keep watching. Stay tuned for more breaking news around this very important subject of sovereignty. I'm Ann Vanderstiel with American Made Action.
The beginning of the end for the Fed? That's exactly what we're witnessing unfold right now. But how does this actually work on the street level? Well, I sat down with Colin Plume from Noble Gold Investments today to get the real story on what you can actually do with gold and silver in Florida right now. Watch.
Yeah, and that DeSantis bill that just happened yesterday too. So gold. And
silver. I wanted to ask you about this. I just was, looking up on X to see the latest gold price, and then this thing pops up.
Yeah.
DeSantis signs a bill to make gold and silver legal tender in Florida. What the hell is going on there?
Yeah, so basically you can use gold there to buy goods. I mean, really the reason they do it is like Utah was way ahead of this, is that Utah many years ago started to allow people to pay taxes or anything in gold and silver. And think about how well they've done as a state because of them accepting that. And Florida, listen, I think they believe in, free enterprise, and obviously they want to allow people that, people will be able to buy things in that state with gold and silver. But selfishly, I think the state is looking for a good revenue stream because they'll accept gold to pay off, if you have any kind of bill that you owe to that state, you'll be able to pay it through gold and silver. So
this is basically this is a state-based situation where you can pay your taxes or whatever to the state in gold, because it says make gold legal tender in Florida. So does it also include going to the 7-Eleven and buying a Red Bull with a tenth of an ounce of something?
Yeah, you could buy a lot of Red Bull with a tenth of an ounce of gold. That'd be a lot. You could pretty much buy all 7-Eleven with a tenth of an ounce of gold. You could get chew. You could get all the hot dogs.
Well, let's play this out then. How does that actually function in real life? Because, the coins, the legal tenders I've seen that come from the mint, it says like $50 and it's a tenth of an ounce or whatever it might be. So the face value of that coin is different from the actual melt value.
Correct. Yeah, it's not going to go based on face value.
So play it out. Just play it out for me here.
Okay.
We go to 7-Eleven. We want to buy all the Red Bull in stock, and we bring out this coin that says 50, but its melt value is $600 or whatever. How does that even work at the cash register? I mean, I'm just throwing out this hypothetical.
Yeah. No, I think and it works in pawn shops all the time. I mean, they do this all the time. They would have to weigh it and authenticate it to make sure it's real. I think silver makes more.
Pooh is going to have to learn a new trade.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, if you're the owner of that 7-Eleven, if you have to take the dollar, or if you're going to take a credit, like you would much prefer to take gold and silver, right?
I certainly would.
Absolutely. So silver probably makes more sense for that, for a small purchase. But let's say you need a new transmission. If you need a new transmission, it's going to cost you $2,000 to $8,000, right? So a gold piece would make sense in that scenario.
Sure.
Right. A 1 ounce gold piece. The $50 face value that you were saying, that's on the American Eagle coin.
Yes.
So that coin today is probably worth, $3,400, $3,500.
Right. Okay. Yes.
You could pay. I mean, listen, you could pay your mortgage with it. You could pay your rent. It's all going to be acceptable in that state. And I think
that's wild.
The smart money is going to accept it. The smart money is going to want it.
Yeah, they will. Now, think about this. Paying your mortgage with gold? Paying your rent? This is not fantasy anymore. It's actually Florida law. And Andy Seckman reveals this isn't just Florida. Over 20 states are moving towards gold and silver as legal tender. The monetary revolution is spreading faster than the establishment can stop it. Watch.
Why? Why are they accumulating all this stuff and doing it very clandestine and not reporting it? Some get caught. And 40% hasn't gotten caught. Where did it go? Who's buying it? So the biggest money in the world, think of misdirection, speaks to the risk-on trade. The biggest money in the world is doing the opposite. They're cornering the risk-off trade. And that's the thing that I would focus on very much so. But it is intriguing when we realize that Judy Shelton is advocating for gold, that Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, his largest holding is in gold. Cynthia Loomis is talking about revaluing gold. you're beginning to see things move. And many of the states, over 20 states in the United States, have either passed legislation allowing it to be legal tender for all debts, public and private, or are moving towards, like here in Florida, they are doing a study on this with the intent of moving towards adopting gold and silver transactions, whether it be digital or physical gold eagles, as an example, for all debts, public and private. We're getting a little bit more about it.
The biggest money in the world is cornering the risk-off trade while telling you everything's fine. It's time to wake up. Now, DeSantis didn't stop at monetary policy. He called out Washington's spending addiction and showed how Florida manages money responsibly while D.C. drowns in debt. Watch.
$1 trillion deficit is a tax on you. It works its way through the economy. There's no free lunch, and that's what ends up happening. And it's a little frustrating. You know, Elon Musk went into this Doge effort. He was getting lampooned. I mean, like, they're firebombing his Tesla dealerships. Media is smearing him relentlessly. His businesses suffered, all this stuff, because he basically said, look, we can't keep doing this, and we need to moderate and reduce the amount of money that the federal government is spending. And yet, we have a Republican Congress, and to this day, we're in the end of May, past Memorial Day, and not 1 cent in Doge cuts have been implemented by the Congress. That's one of the reasons why we need a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution. It's another reason why we need term limits for members of Congress. But I think what you've seen with how, and I kind of said this early on, that Doge and Elon were on a collision course with the swamp. And the question is, what would happen? And I don't think there's any question that Doge fought the swamp, and so far the swamp has won. And that's just unfortunate, but I don't think you can look at this any other way. So this is hardwired into how the people in Washington are borrowing and spending your money. But it has huge implications for the viability of our economy, our country, and everything going forward. And, you know, don't tell me it can't be done. When I became governor, so if you look at, Florida's been a state for 180 years, if you look at all the debt that's been accumulated over our entire history of statehood, just since I've been governor, we've paid off 41% of it. And we're doing more every day. So that's not adding to debt, that's reducing debt. We have the lowest per capita debt of any state in the country, and if you looked at what your share as a Florida resident is for our outstanding state debt, it's about $400 a person. What is your outstanding share for the U.S. federal debt? It's like $105,000 a person and escalating. Ours is declining. You also look at Florida, we have the lowest number of state employees per capita. Don't have a big bureaucracy. We are also the second lowest in terms of spending per capita of all the 50 states.
41% of all Florida's debt paid off under DeSantis. Meanwhile, your share of the federal debt, $105,000 and climbing. Now, this fight for sound money's not new. Ron Paul's been warning us for decades. Watch him now grill Ben Bernanke about competing currencies and exposing the Fed's lies about inflation. Watch.
I'm glad to see my friend President Paul back from the campaign trail. This seems to me like deja vu all over again.
Mr. Bernanke, if you don't mind, would you tell me whether or not you do your own shopping at the grocery store? Yes, I do. Okay, so you're aware of the prices. But, you know, this argument that the prices are going up about 2%, nobody believes it. You know, and the old CPI says prices are going up at 9%. So they believe this. And people on fixed incomes, they're really hurting. The middle class is really hurting because their inflation rate is very much higher than the government tries to tell them. If you loan me $100 and in 2 years from now I gave you 90 back, you'd be pretty upset. but we hand back money back that's worth 10 or 15 or 20% less, and nobody seems to be able to do anything about it. It's very upsetting. But it's theft. If I don't give you your full $100 back, if you've loaned me $100, I'm stealing $10 from you. So somebody's stealing wealth, and this is very upsetting. But in January at one of your press conferences, you said that you sort of poked a little bit of fun at people to downplay the 2% inflation rate. But if you say it's 2 and I say it's 9, it's compromised for the sake of argument that it's 5%. That you said that if it doesn't hurt you unless you're one of those people who stick the money in the mattress. But where are you going to put it? Are you going to put it in a CD and not make any money at all? So this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't encourage the savings, and it just discourages people. But I do want to make a point about prices, because prices go up. That, to me, is not the inflation. It is one of the bad consequences of the inflation, which comes from the increase in the money supply, and that's one of the bad effects. But, you took over the Fed in 2006. I have a silver ounce here. And this ounce of silver back in 2006 would buy over 4 gallons of gasoline. Today it'll buy almost 11 gallons of gasoline. That's preservation of value, and that's what the market has always said should be money. Money comes into effect in a natural way, not in an edict, not by fiat, by governments declaring it is money. But why is it that we can't consider the two of us, an option? You love paper money. I think money should be honest, constitutional, it's still on the books, gold and silver, legal tender. Why don't we use it? But why don't we allow currencies to run parallel? They do around the world. One of my options, as much as I would like to do something with the Fed, I say the Fed's going to self-destruct eventually anyway when the money's gone. But why wouldn't we legalize competing currencies? Why couldn't people put this in a mattress and get 4 or 5 times much of the value in a few years? So the record of what you've done in the last 6 years is destroy the value of real money.
First of all, good to see you again, Congressman Paul. Just one word on the inflation. Of course, those numbers are constructed by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, not by the Fed. They're independently constructed, and I think they're done in a very serious and thoughtful way. On alternative currencies, nobody prevents you from holding silver or gold if you want to. It's perfectly legal to do that. And you're also it's also perfectly fine to hold other currencies, euros or yen or whatever else. So in that respect, you can do that, and I'd be happy to talk to you about other options.
Mr. Chairman, that's not money. I mean, when you pay taxes to buy a coin, or you have capital gains tax, when it's not, if you have to settle a lawsuit, it's always settled in depreciating Federal Reserve notes. It's never settled in the real contract. So that's nothing near money when it's illegal to use it. But to do it, you'd have to repeal the legal tender laws. You would have to legalize this. You'd have to get rid of the sales taxes. You'd have to get rid of the capital gains taxes. People, even in Mexico, they're talking about this. They're trying to have competing currencies. They've been wiped out too many times with inflation and wipe out the middle class. They're allowing people to start to save in a silver currency. So I hope we move along in that direction, because there shouldn't be any, overwhelming changes all of a sudden, that there could be a transition. People could vote on it. Maybe they'll give up on the Federal Reserve note and vote for real money.
I'd be very happy to talk to you about it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, man, what a beautiful flashback. Well, that silver ounce that Ron Paul held up, it preserves value. Your Federal Reserve notes, they are designed to lose it. Now, the Fed claims they don't own gold, but Ron Paul exposed their shell game with gold certificates. Watch them squirm when asked a simple question about America's gold reserves.
I understand it. But what people hear when you say independence, they hear secrecy. You're going to keep it from us. And like the point I made at the beginning, the SEC is to pressure companies to reveal information, where the Federal Reserve does the opposite. They want, no, we can't tell anything because it might disturb the markets. But I do have one question. During the crisis or any time that you're aware of, has the Federal Reserve or Treasury participated in any gold swaps arrangements?
We don't. The Federal Reserve does not own any gold at all. We have not owned gold since 1934. So we have not engaged in any gold swaps.
But it appears on your balance sheet that you hold gold.
What appears on our balance sheet is gold certificates. When we turned before 1934, the Federal Reserve did own gold. We turned that over by law to the Treasury and received in return for that gold certificate.
If the Treasury entered into, because under the Exchange Stabilization Fund, I would assume they probably have the legal authority to do it. They wouldn't be able to do it then because you have the securities for essentially all the gold?
No, we have no interest in the gold that is owned by the Treasury. We have simply an accounting document that is called gold certificates that represents the value at a statutory rate
and still
that we gave to the Treasury in 1930.
And still measured at $42 an ounce, which makes no sense whatsoever. But, you know, the conventional wisdom today says that gold is really not money. We don't want it to be money. I mean, if you're for the gold standard, there's something wrong with you. Yet we hold the gold. And, you know, there have been suggestions made, and I've sort of, encouraged the suggestion. You know, if gold is not money and it's an asset and you don't even use it because it's on your balance sheets and you don't even use it at the real value, would you have a position on this? Why shouldn't the Treasury just sell the gold, give it back to the people? The people had it at one time. Let the people have it. Would you have any objection to that? Would you advise us and say, no, that's not good. We ought to hold the gold. Do you think holding the gold is a good idea or a bad idea?
So I have no position on that at all. That's clearly
no position.
Treasury. It's a matter for the Treasury. It's not within the purview of the Federal Reserve.
$42 an ounce on their books when gold trades at $2,800 back then. That's government accounting for you. And the ultimate question, does America even have the gold it claims? Well, Ron Paul demanded answers that the establishment refuses to give. Watch.
The big question everyone wants to know, do you think the United States still has all its gold?
But the truth is that I don't know. I think the gold is there. Ownership is a question because there's a lot of borrowing and gimmickry that goes on. And that's why the audit is so important. When I was one of two members that supported the gold standard back on the Gold Commission, there were only two of us that voted and said, let's audit the gold. Let's have a good, true assessment. But the 15 other ones said, no, we don't want to know. I wonder why they didn't want to know. Because when I asked for a vote in the House, we did pretty well. We got all the Republicans, and they're all not all libertarian, and a bunch of Democrats voted for it, realizing that, revealing what's going on is not necessarily a partisan issue, and it's a good issue.
So the audit is so important because without it, we're trusting criminals with our wealth. No wonder why they fight it. Other nations, they're not waiting. Zimbabwe just launched a gold-backed digital currency to escape hyperinflation caused by money printing. Watch.
Of Zimbabwe introduced this Monday a digital token backed by gold as legal tender. The aim is to help stabilize the Zimbabwean dollar and protect citizens from currency fluctuations. The gold-backed digital tokens will be a form of electronic money backed by Zimbabwe's gold reserves held by the central bank. Over the past year, the value of the Zimbabwean dollar has declined significantly, with $1 now worth approximately 1,000 Zimbabwean dollars, compared to 150 Zimbabwean dollars a year ago. Zimbabwe has been drowning in double and sometimes triple-digit inflation for over a decade.
When Zimbabwe leads on monetary policy, you know your dollar is in trouble. The world is watching. And Senator Cynthia Lummis has an even bolder plan, a strategic Bitcoin reserve to shore up the dollar and pay down debt using existing resources. Watch.
The other thing is the proposal that I have and that President Trump has discussed about a strategic Bitcoin reserve or strategic Bitcoin stockpile, where the United States would acquire and hold Bitcoin for 20 years. Because of the way that Bitcoin has been appreciating since inception, this would be an asset that could help shore up the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency and serve as a reserve that could be used to reduce the national debt significantly. You know, the American people are still hurting from inflation, from high prices, and they want the national debt reduced. These are ways to do it with an asset that is immutable, can easily be held by the federal government in a variety of vaults, and that states can participate in as well. So this is the gold standard digital asset. And a strategic Bitcoin reserve is the way to embed it.
You know, we got off the gold standard a long time ago. My question is how much you would spend tax dollars at a time where we're talking about trying to reduce costs. How much would you spend on Bitcoin as part of this reserve?
We wouldn't have to spend any new dollars. We have reserves at our 12 Federal Reserve banks, including gold certificates that could be converted to current fair market value. They're held at their 1970s value on the books, and then sell them into Bitcoin. That way, we wouldn't have to use any new dollars in order to establish this reserve. The United States already holds over 200,000 Bitcoin in the asset forfeiture funds. So that would be the initial source of Bitcoin. So no new money spent on this reserve.
Revalue those gold certificates. Convert to Bitcoin. No new dollars needed. That's innovative thinking. Now, Florida just proved that states don't need Washington's permission to restore sound money. The Federal Reserve's paper monopoly is cracking. The revolution starts in your wallet. If you found value in this report, hit that subscribe button. My closing thoughts are coming up next. Now, this isn't just about Florida. This is about the future of money in America. When states start rejecting Federal Reserve notes and embracing constitutional money, you're witnessing the beginning of the end for the banking cartel that's robbed you blind for over a century. Every dollar in your pocket loses value by design. Every ounce of gold holds its purchasing power by nature. And DeSantis just gave 22 million Floridians the choice. Which will you choose? So here's my controversial question for you. Should your state follow Florida's lead and make gold and silver legal tender? Drop your answer in the comments. Yes, if you want real money, and no, if you trust the Fed. I already know what real patriots are going to say. This is the monetary revolution they feared. We're taking our wealth back, one state at a time. And if you want to show where you stand, check out our Next News merch shop. It's linked down below. Real news for real Americans. All right, we're going to get the answer to that question, the trivia question. But first, Lori Newland dropped $5 into the Alex Jones Was Right jar. Thank you, Lori, for that. And then we have this from Squeeze-A-Lot, dropping $10. He says, treason gets paid with lead eventually. I do not condone violence. However, gold and lead have similar weights. I don't hunt food with gold. Roll back the clock. Around 1910, 1930, gold began to vanish. Thank you for that $10. We'll put that right in the jar. And then he followed up as well with $5. So we've got him, what's he saying here? One of the 7 deadly sins by politicians in power, greed. Thank you for that super chat and that comment contributing to the value of this show. And now we're going to give you some value. We're going to give you the trivia answer to the question that we posed before the segment. Okay, what is the question? What is the answer? Let's take a look. Which U.S. president took America off the gold standard, making it illegal for citizens to own gold coins? Well, you all said 44%. You said Richard Nixon. Brian, they're wrong. Cue it. Yeah, the answer was A. Franklin D. Roosevelt. In 1933, FDR signed Executive Order 6102, making it illegal for Americans to own gold coins, forcing citizens to sell their gold to the government at $20.67 per ounce. Yeah. Oh, you guys disappointed me on that one. Richard Nixon. I know you're going back to 1971 when Nixon closed the gold window, but no, that's not what we're talking about here. Okay, we got another question for you before we get into our next topic of the evening. Here's the question: which judge became famous for presiding over the trial of the century involving O.J. Simpson? Was it Judge Judy Sheindlin? Was it Judge Lance Ito, Judge Jeanine Pirro, or Judge William Rehnquist? You can drop your answer in the chat room. We'll have the poll up shortly for you. You can also drop a comment, and we're going to tell you the answer after this segment. The Oval Office fell silent today. Cameras rolled, history was made, and what happened next sent shockwaves through Washington's criminal underworld. A legendary prosecutor who spent decades putting murderers and rapists and predators behind bars just received the ultimate promotion. The swamp's two-tier justice system? Well, it's about to face its worst nightmare. DC's crime syndicate thought they were untouchable. They thought the cartels thought they owned the streets. The corrupt politicians thought their protection racket would last forever. Well, they were wrong, dead wrong. And what President Trump just did in that sacred office changes the game completely. And the woman that he chose, well, she's prosecuted the worst of the worst. Now she's coming for Washington's criminals. And trust me, they should be terrified. You need to see this. Now, justice starts from within, and so does taking care of yourself. As we age, our body's collagen production declines, just like DC's justice system declined under weak leadership. But while Judge Pirro restores law and order to our capital, you can restore your skin's youthful appearance with ageless multi-collagen. This powerful formula includes 5 key types of collagen from 4 premium sources, fighting wrinkles and sagging skin the way that Pirro fights crime, effectively and without mercy. No clumping, no odor, just results. So head to healthwithgary.com for 51% off and start your own restoration today. That's healthwithgary.com. And speaking of transformations, what happened in the Oval Office today will transform justice in our nation's capital. President Trump just swore in Judge Jeanine Pirro as the new U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. The criminals terrorizing D.C. streets, well, their free ride just ended. And Trump introduced Pirro with the kind of praise reserved for true warriors of justice. Listen to him describe the prosecutor who revolutionized how America fights crime. Watch.
Over 5 decades, Jeanine Pirro, known by Canadians as Judge Jeanine, has devoted her life to the pursuit of justice, the defense of freedom, and the fair, equal, and impartial rule of law. And that's what she's about. She was a great DA. I remember her very well. She was as good as anybody I've seen. She began a career in 1975 as an assistant district attorney in Westchester County, New York, where she prosecuted violent crimes. And that was a serious prosecution. And she went after real criminals, not fake criminals like we seem to do today nowadays. People that shouldn't be prosecuted, including rape, murder, and was a tireless warrior on behalf of the most vulnerable people in our society. In that role, Jeanine helped create one of our country's first domestic violence bureaus. I think it was the first, Jeanine. And as its chief, she revolutionized victim protection and bold, innovative policies like very few people even thought of. In 1990, Jeanine became the first female judge in Westchester County history. And following the year, and by the way, very distinguished, had an unbelievable, distinguished career. And in the following years, she presided over numerous complex criminal cases. The reason they were complex is that other judges were not able to understand them. They were called the complex cases. My sister had them too. They always used to give her the complex cases because other people didn't understand them, including high-stakes felony narcotics trials. Her outstanding judicial record earned her the honor of being named the #1 judge in 1990 by the Independent Fund for Modern Courts. That's nationwide. Outstanding judge. The following year, Judge Jeanine was elected Westchester County District Attorney, became the top prosecutor for a jurisdiction that included some of the largest suburbs in New York City, including Yonkers and White Plains. It's a big deal. As District Attorney, Jeanine tackled high-profile violent crime cases and established one of the nation's most successful cybercrime units to combat online child abuse. She was way ahead of a lot of people. They still aren't there, if you get right down. I mean, from what I hear, they're still not there in many cases back there where we come from. In addition to her stellar legal career, Jeanine also excelled in news media as you know, and she's become one of the most beloved political figures through her time on television, because she's been very, very successful at a thing called television. She got out of what she was doing, and frankly, she does them both great, but she's really, to me, she'll always be known as a great lawyer and a great prosecutor, which is what she's doing now. So Jeanine Pirro, I have no doubt, will be an exceptional U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, one of the truly most important positions in our country, of any position, where she will restore public safety in our nation's capital, break up vicious street gangs and criminal networks, and ensure equal justice under the law. You'll see very, very big improvements in the D.C. area, that I can promise you. So I want to congratulate Jeanine. I want to congratulate you and Christine and your whole family on this undertaking. And
5 decades fighting for justice, and now she's Washington's top prosecutor. And the swamp should be terrified. And the swearing-in ceremony itself was electric. Watch as Judge Jeanine takes the oath that makes her D.C. chief law enforcement officer. Watch.
I do solemnly swear.
I, Jeanine Pirro, do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I take this obligation freely.
And that I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully.
And that I will well and faithfully.
Discharge the duties.
Discharge the duties.
Of the office upon which I am about to enter.
Of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
From her seat at the table on Fox News on the 5 to the judge's bench. Now, that oath means business. D.C. criminals better start packing. Their protector just left the building. But it was Pirro's own remarks that sent chills through the swamp. She didn't mince words about what's coming for the Capitol's criminal class. Watch.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Madam Attorney General, both my friends for many years. Long ago, I went to law school to study about justice and to bring justice to victims of violent crimes, women, children, and the elderly. I fought to give them a voice in a system that was both blind and deaf to their concerns. I dedicated my heart and soul to making sure that there was a system that responded to them. My profile and my prosecutorial successes garnered public attention, and my life took unexpected turns. Through all of this, President Trump, you have remained as steadfast as one of my earliest supporters and champions. You never wavered. You were always steadfast, trustworthy, and confident. Today, Mr. President, you bring me back to my roots. And it is a larger arena, but no less an arena where we need justice, where we need to send a message that justice will be honored in the District of Columbia. And just last week, here in our nation's capital, two people on the brink of beginning their life had hopes and dreams that were never realized because a cold-blooded murderer made a decision to shoot them down on the streets on a cold, rainy night in our nation's capital. This will not go without just accounting. My voice should be heard loud and clear. No more tolerance of hatred, no more mercy for criminals. Violence will be addressed directly with the appropriate punishment. And this city will again become a shining city on a hill in an America that President Trump has promised to make great again and will make safe again. Mr. President, America thanks you, and I thank you.
No more tolerance of hatred, no more mercy for criminals. That's a declaration of war on crime. And just last week, two people starting their lives together were gunned down on D.C. streets. Cold-blooded murder in our nation's capital. Under previous leadership, their killers might walk free. Under Pirro, justice will be served hot and fresh. Now, this appointment matters because D.C. isn't just another city. It's the seat of American power. When crime runs rampant here, it sends a message to the world that America can't even protect its own capital. And Pirro's about to change that narrative. Remember, she built the nation's first domestic violence bureau. She pioneered cybercrime units before most people knew what that even the internet was. She prosecuted cases other judges called too complex to understand. This is not some political appointee. This is a legal assassin with a badge. And President Trump, he wasn't done making news in the Oval Office. When asked about Elon Musk's criticism of the big, beautiful bill, well, Trump laid out the reality of governing with zero Democrat support. Watch.
Mr. President, Elon Musk in a television interview criticized the one big, beautiful bill, saying he was disappointed it didn't cut enough, essentially, that it undercut the DOGE efforts. What's your reaction to that?
Well, the reaction's a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes. We can't be cutting. We need to get a lot of support. And we have a lot of support. We had to get it through the House. The House was, we have no Democrats. If it's up to the Democrats, they'll take the 65% increase. If that doesn't get approved, this country is going to have a 65% increase in taxes and lots of other problems, big problems, almost bigger than that. But we'll have a 65% increase as opposed to the largest tax cut in the history of our country. We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill, but the beautiful is because of all of the things we have. The biggest thing being, I would say, the level of tax cutting that we're going to be doing. We're going to make people really be able to, we'll have the lowest tax rate we've ever had in the history of our country, and tremendous amounts of benefit are going to the middle income people of our country, low and middle income people of our country. So we're going to see what happens, because the Senate, as you know, is negotiating with us, and they have to then go back to the House, and it's got a way to go. But I have to say, Speaker Johnson and Thune has done an incredible job. John Thune has done a fantastic job, and they're working together with me and others. And I think we have an amazing, if we pull this off, remember, we have 0 Democrat votes because they're bad people. There's something wrong with them. They'll let people pour into our country. Single biggest problem is we had 21 million people pour into our country, probably higher than that. And they're people that weren't supposed to be here. And many of those people are bad. Murderers, drug dealers, the mentally insane. They were closing mental institutions all over the world, not South America, all over the world. They're coming into our country, and we're getting them out. And we're having a hard time because some judges aren't making it very easy for us, and it's tough enough. They approved that. They allowed that to happen to our country. We don't have one Democrat vote. And if I were a Democrat, I'd be voting for this bill, and I'd get elected to any position I want as a Democrat. They're crazy. They're voting for a 65% tax increase. And they're only doing it for hatred. They're not doing it for any reason. They know it's terrible. Terrible politics, in my opinion. But so we have no Democrat votes. That means we have to get almost all Republican votes. And I think we're very close to doing that. I think it'll be very successful. Yeah, please.
65% tax increase or the largest tax cut in history. Democrats chose tax hikes out of pure hatred. The president also addressed the Harvard situation, calling out their anti-American stance and revealing that they're teaching remedial math to students who somehow got accepted. Watch.
How will the confrontation with Harvard end? Do you foresee?
I don't know. I don't know. Harvard's got to behave themselves. Harvard is treating our country with great disrespect, and all they're doing is getting in deeper and deeper and deeper. They've got to behave themselves. You know, I'm looking out for the country and for Harvard. I want Harvard to do well. I want Harvard to be great again, probably, because how could it be great? How could it be great when you have Harvard announced 2 weeks ago that they're going to teach remedial mathematics, remedial, meaning they're going to teach low-grade mathematics, like 2 + 2 is 4. How did these people get into Harvard if they can't do basic mathematics? How did they do it? I mean, people with 1,600 on their boards don't get in, and they're letting people in, and they're bragging about how they're teaching them basic mathematics. Where did these people come from? So we have to look at the list, and Harvard has to understand the last thing I want to do is hurt them. They're hurting themselves. They're fighting. You know, Columbia has been they were very, very bad what they've done. They're very anti-Semitic and lots of other things. But they're working with us on finding a solution. And, you know, they're taking off that hot seat. But Harvard wants to fight. They want to show how smart they are. And they're getting their ass kicked.
Oh, I love that guy. I love that guy. Harvard getting their ass kicked for fighting America. Yeah, that's one thing you don't do. All right? You love to see it happening in real time too, don't you? And Trump exposed who's really behind the campus chaos, not foreign students, but radical left lunatics causing trouble. Watch.
I want to make sure that the foreign students are people that can love our country. We don't want to see shopping centers exploding. We don't want to see the kind of riots that you had. And I'll tell you what, many of those students didn't go anywhere. Many of those students were troublemakers caused by the radical left lunatics in this country.
And many troublemakers never left. They're homegrown radicals, not imports. The enemy is within. The Harvard scandal goes deeper than anyone imagined. $5 billion from taxpayers while spreading anti-American, anti-Semitic poison. Watch.
See, look, Harvard has been a disaster. They've taken $5 billion plus. $5 billion. Nobody knew that they were making this cut. If we didn't do this, we would have never found this out, Pam. They're taking $5 billion. And I'd rather see that money go to trade schools. And by the way, they're totally anti-Semitic at Harvard, as you know, and some other colleges, too, in all fairness to them. And it's been exposed, very exposed. And I think they're dealing very badly. Every time they fight, they lose another $250 million. Yesterday, we found another $100 million. And they have, they have a fund, an endowment, $52 billion. All right? They get a lot of that from the United States. And I think it's ridiculous. I think everyone's coming up to me saying, we love the idea of trade schools with that kind of money and money from others, but money from them. You can have the best trade schools anywhere in the world. You give them to Iowa, Indiana, lots of good states, well-run states, and you give them the money. They can only be used for trade schools, and they'll teach people how to build motors and cars and AI.
Trade schools instead of woke indoctrination. That's making America great again, one graduate at a time. Now, on foreign policy, Trump revealed he's testing Putin's sincerity about ending the Ukraine conflict, giving him 2 weeks to prove that he wants peace. Watch.
Do you believe the Russians are being disrespectful when they say that your criticisms of Putin are simply an emotional response? And do you still believe that Putin actually wants to end the war?
I can't tell you that, but I'll let you know in about 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we're going to find out very soon. We're going to find out whether or not he's tapping us along or not. And if he is, we'll respond a little bit differently. But it'll take about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We have Mr. Witkoff is here, who's doing a phenomenal job, is dealing with them very strongly right now. They seem to want to do something, but until the document is signed, I can't tell you. Nobody can. I can say this. That I'm very disappointed at what happened a couple of nights now, where people were killed in the middle of what you would call a negotiation. I'm very disappointed by that. Very, very disappointed.
2 weeks to show results or Trump changes tactics. That's real diplomacy with teeth. Middle East peace is also on the table. Trump's team is working on getting aid to Gaza while pushing for a lasting resolution. Watch.
I think that we are on the precipice of sending out a new term sheet that hopefully will be delivered later on today. The president is going to review it, and I have some very good feelings about getting to a long-term resolution, temporary ceasefire, and a long-term resolution, a peaceful resolution of that conflict.
A new term sheet coming today. Peace might be closer than we think. Trump delivering again. And Trump reflected on the horror of October 7th and the need to help Gaza's people while remembering what started this whole conflict. Watch.
No, we're dealing with the whole situation in Gaza. We're getting food to the people of Gaza. It's been a very nasty situation, very nasty fight. October 7th was a very nasty day, the worst that I think I've ever seen. It was a horrible day, and people aren't going to forget that either. So we'll see how that all works out.
Getting food to civilians while never forgetting October 7th. That is balanced leadership that America needs. And when asked about his conversation with Netanyahu, Trump admitted that he warned against actions that could derail the peace talks. Watch.
Ron, did you warn Prime Minister Netanyahu against taking some sort of actions that could disrupt the talks there in a phone call last week?
Well, I'd like to be honest. Yes, I did. Next question, please.
Doesn't that on sanctions?
I did, yeah.
If Senate Republicans want to push
It's not a warning. I said I don't think it's appropriate.
What exactly did you tell him?
I just said I don't think it's appropriate. We're having very good discussions with him, and I said I don't think it's appropriate right now. Because if we can settle it with a very strong document, very strong, with inspections and no trust. I don't trust anybody. So no trust. I want it very strong where we can go in with inspectors. We can take whatever we want. We can blow up whatever we want, but nobody getting killed. We can blow up a lab, but nobody's going to be in the lab, as opposed to everybody being in the lab and blowing it up, right? 2 ways of doing it. Yeah, I told him this would be inappropriate to do right now because we're very close to a solution. Now, that could change at any moment. Could change with a phone call. But right now, I think they want to make a deal, and if we can make a deal, save a lot of lives.
Save lives through negotiation instead of escalation. That is the Trump doctrine working worldwide. From restoring law and order in D.C. to managing complex foreign policy, today's Oval Office events showed American leadership is back. And if this report opened your eyes, smash that subscribe button. Final thoughts now, coming your way. Now, Judge Jeanine Pirro, as D.C.'s top prosecutor, changes everything. The woman who created America's first domestic violence bureau, who revolutionized how we prosecute cyber predators, who took on cases other prosecutors called impossible, she's now hunting D.C.'s worst criminals, gang members, cartel killers, corrupt officials. Your protection has just expired. Pirro doesn't play politics. She plays for keeps. And while previous administrations let D.C. descend into chaos, Trump just deployed a legal weapon of mass destruction against crime. The message is crystal clear. America's capital will be safe again. No more catch and release, no more two-tier justice, no more coddling criminals while victims suffer. So here's my question for you. Should every major city appoint prosecutors like Pirro who actually put criminals in prison? A simple yes or no in the comments below. The criminal coddling era just ended in D.C. And remember, show your support for real justice. Grab your next news gear from the shop. It is linked down below. Okay, let's see here. We have your answers to the trivia question, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, we have Squeeze-A-Lot, who is dropping mad fiat today. What is he saying here? Wow, the YouTube bot is hard at work tonight. 40 different ways, all denied. Yeah, well, I mean, look at the numbers on YouTube, right? Like, these numbers are ridiculous. But I do want to give a shout out to Todd over at Trump Daily Post right now for sharing this out to his network. And I mean, you can look at the numbers right there at the top of at the top of the screen. Or no, where is it? Oh, yeah, top of the screen. 18,607 people. Oh, 18,681 people have watched this stream or watching now on X. Only 76 people are watching on Rumble, 425 on YouTube. I mean, we have 2.25 million subscribers. You'd think that we'd get a few more. I mean, remember, a few months ago, the numbers were through the roof. Every single broadcast, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. There is no doubt in my mind that the suppression is back. But here's the $10 from Squeeze-A-Lot, because he's recognizing his own suppression. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, sir. Okay, let's get to that trivia answer, shall we? Okay, here it is. Which judge became famous for presiding over the trial of the century involving O.J. Simpson? The answer, B, Judge Lance Ito. Yes, Judge Lance Ito presided over the O.J. Simpson murder trial in 1995, which became known as the trial of the century due to massive media coverage. Who will ever forget that famous video of the white Bronco, huh? Okay, Tom B420 dropping, what? $5. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Tom B. And here's the 5 spot. We'll put it in the jar tonight. So let's see what's going on. Bam, right in the jar. And Squeeze-A-Lot is back. $10. Treason deserves a sudden drop and a sharp stop, not jail. Was that $10? Yeah, I gotta go to the stack now. Okay, let's go to the stack. Thank you, sir, for that. Okay, so let's get to our next trivia question of the evening before we get to our next segment. You guys like these trivia section? You like it? Okay, so I didn't get your I didn't read the poll results. 67% said Judge Lance Ito. So you guys, you got that one. Brian, where's the applause for everyone who got it right? Or don't you have like a thing, like a cheer or something, Brian? All right. Okay, so let's get this trivia question. Which economic indicator, I want to see if you guys get this one. Which economic indicator famously predicted 9 of the last 5 recessions, according to economist Paul Samuelson? Was it A, Consumer Confidence Index, B, Stock Market Performance, C, the unemployment rate, or D, housing stats? We're going to get the answer to this after the segment, and you can certainly drop your answer into the poll or into the chat room or in the comments. And don't skip ahead. If you're watching this on replay, don't skip ahead. Okay? Just sit back and enjoy the show. Something extraordinary just happened. The numbers are in, and they're blowing economists' minds. After 4 years of Biden's disaster, Americans are suddenly feeling something they haven't felt in years: optimism, confidence. The data doesn't lie, and what it's showing has the establishment media in full panic. They can't spin this, they can't hide it, and they can't explain it away. One man returned to the White House, and instantly everything changed, and the proof is undeniable. The transformation is real, and what's happening to our economy right now proves every single Trump supporter was right all along. Wait until you see these numbers. Wait until you hear what Americans are really saying. The Trump effect is back, and it's bigger than ever. Don't go anywhere. Because Americans are feeling confident again. Because Trump is restoring our foundation. And speaking of foundations, the American honeybee is the foundation of our food supply. While consumer confidence soars, Patriot Bee Best is ensuring our agricultural future remains secure. Now, these essential pollinators, they're under attack, just like our economy was under Biden. But Patriot Bee Best, a veteran-owned movement, is fighting back, funding restoration projects and educating patriots nationwide. When you support PatriotBeBest.com with promo code NEXTNEWS for 25% off, you are investing in America's food security while Trump secures our economic prosperity. Visit PatriotBeBest.com. Protect the bees and preserve the republic. And just like those bees are essential to our food supply, consumer confidence is essential to our economy. Today's numbers just delivered a massive shock to the system. Americans are feeling better about the economy than they have had in years. The Trump effect isn't just real, it's actually measurable, it's undeniable, and it's driving the establishment absolutely insane. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt delivered the stunning news that has Democrats scrambling for excuses. Consumer confidence hit record highs, and respected pollster Matt Rasmussen shows the majority of Americans believe that we're finally on the right track. Watch.
There is good news today. Consumer confidence hit a record high, and also the highly respected pollster Matt Rasmussen showed that the majority of Americans view our country as heading on the right track under President Trump. This is a stark contrast to what that same polling showed under the previous disastrous administration led by Joe Biden. As for the trade talks, since you mentioned them, I was just going back and forth with our United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, who informed me that the Trump administration continues to be in intensive talks with India, and the president, of course, has applied very public pressure to the European Union so that they, too, can have a miraculous trade deal just like we cut with Britain and our friends in the United Kingdom. So we continue to move forward in cutting good deals that put the American people and the American worker first.
Record high confidence versus Biden's disaster. That is the Trump difference right there. Americans know prosperity when they feel it. Economist Stephen Mirren broke down exactly why these numbers matter and what they mean for your wallet. His analysis destroys the mainstream narrative completely and proves what we've been saying all along. Watch.
You know, the consumer confidence data this morning were really great. There's no other way to put it. It was the biggest jump since March of 2021, right? So very substantial improvement in consumer confidence. However, I came on your network and other networks pointing out when consumer confidence was down last time that the correlation between it and hard economic data was not as strong as it had been in the past. And I think what we're seeing is that those confidence data overreacted to the financial market activity, and now that financial markets are back, the confidence data are back too. But the bottom line is that Americans know that President Trump is a profoundly pro-business and pro-growth president. His administration is profoundly pro-growth. And just like last time, President Trump created a great economic boom through his policies. And the same thing is in the works this time. And Americans know that, and they're starting to understand that.
The biggest jump since March of 2021. Americans know that Trump means business. The economy responds to real leadership. But it's not just confidence, it's concrete action. The White House gave National News Desk exclusive details about Trump's big, beautiful bill that will supercharge the economy just like it was 2017. Watch.
Now to an exclusive. President Trump's proposed tax cuts in the One Big Beautiful Bill will lead to historical growth. The administration sharing these details with just the national news desk tonight. The White House says in the year following Trump's 2017 tax cuts, family income saw a $6,400 boost. They add that the bill will unleash a blue collar boom leading to new jobs. You can read the full handout right now. We have it posted right there at thenationaldesk.com.
$6,400 family income boost last time. Imagine what's coming now. Real money in real pockets. And Marin explained why this tax bill is crucial for unleashing another economic boom and why deficit hawks are looking at the wrong numbers. The full picture tells a completely different story. Watch.
With the big, beautiful tax bill that's going to create such an economic boom in this country, it's going to be great. Just like the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act created a big, beautiful boom in President Trump's first term. And the House did its job, and I think it's time for the Senate to do its job, too. Let me tell you something. I think a lot of the angst over this comes from people focusing on deficit numbers that come from the Congressional Budget Office, when that's one tiny picture of the one tiny corner of the entire picture. They need to focus on the big picture. There's going to be trillions of dollars over the 10-year window coming in from better economic growth, trillions coming in from tariff revenue, trillions coming in from lower interest expenses as we kill inflation, right?
That could really affect the summer. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
So trillions from growth, trillions from tariffs, lower interest costs. Now, the math works when you see the whole picture clearly. Even Trump skeptic Stephen Moore admitted he was completely wrong about tariffs causing inflation. The numbers don't lie. Trump's strategy is working perfectly while critics eat crow. Watch.
With the big, beautiful tax bill that's going to create such an economic boom in this country, it's going to be great. Just like the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act created a big, beautiful boom in President Trump's first term. And the House did its job, and I think it's time for the Senate to do its job, too. Let me tell you something. I think a lot of the angst over this comes from people focusing on deficit numbers that come from the Congressional Budget Office, when that's one tiny picture of the one tiny corner of the entire picture. They need to focus on the big picture. There's going to be trillions of dollars over the 10-year window coming in from better economic growth, trillions coming in from tariff revenue, trillions coming in from lower interest expenses as we kill inflation. Right?
That could really affect the summer. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Inflation staying tame despite the tariffs. Another expert admits Trump was right all along. The winning continues unabated. And the pressure that Trump is applying to our trading partners is already bearing fruit. Remember, we told you, got to pull the Band-Aid off. It's going to hurt a little bit at first. You saw the markets react. But now countries are lining up to make deals because they need access to American markets more than we need them. Watch.
Than it is an inflation premium. Steve Moore, I'd say it's pretty calm inflation report. This is from Unleashed Prosperity. Yeah, I don't see much going on.
Yeah. Look, I've been wrong. I thought these tariffs would cause higher inflation. Tariffs are taxes, and consumers bear some of the cost of that, but it just isn't showing up in the numbers right now. It just really isn't. And if you look at, almost any measure of inflation right now, it's pretty tame. I mean, somewhere in the 2.5% to 3% range, which is a little bit higher than we want, but hardly a catastrophe. And I want to make one other quick point. There was that slight increase in the 30-year bond interest rate. And, oh, my God, the world's coming to an end. But that rate isn't really up much, and neither is the 10-year. So the point that I think a lot of people miss, it's not deficits that ruin the economy. It's government spending. So bring the spending down.
Yes. No, just a good point. I would also say, by the way, for what it's worth,
everybody wants to sell to America. Trump knows how to use that leverage. He's a master negotiator. And Trump's nuclear energy push is opening massive opportunities. Oklo CEO Jake DeWitt revealed how the president's executive orders will accelerate American energy dominance across the board.
Canada, like so many other countries, are just anxious for a deal with the United States because they know that we're the biggest, deepest, most reliable consumer market in the world. Everyone wants to come here and sell and do business. And so the president knows how to get them to the bargaining table, how to get them to make concessions that will make trade more sustainable, more fair to American workers.
All right, so streamline regulations, modernize systems, significant growth acceleration. That is leadership that works. Energy independence returns. And on crypto, Trump's appointment of David Sachs is already paying dividends. Sachs exposed how Elizabeth Warren tried to destroy American crypto innovation during the Biden years with the Autopen. Watch.
Yeah, I mean, we had decades in the last part of the last century of significant stagnation and policy that just was not supportive of actually energy abundance, right? And now we're seeing that change under the leadership of the president, building on, by the way, things he did before in his first term, as well as going back several administrations, frankly. There's been this acceleration of saying, hey, look, nuclear plays an important role. We need to get rid of some of the inefficient, outdated things at the policy space and the regulatory space that have held nuclear back and let the innovation in this country flourish. We still lead the world, but we need to be doing more to actually build and deploy these things. And what he's done is he's unlocked now these additional regulatory pathways, these streamlining, opportunities around sort of modernizing and reforming the regulatory system so that it can actually be reflective of newer, better, safer technologies like what we're working on getting out to market. It's going to be a significant accelerant to unlocking a significant amount of growth. So that map you showed, which showed the number of states, I fully expect a lot more states to have it. When you look at the projects, the ones we're talking to, others in the space we're talking to, you're going to see a pretty significant move of new plants. And what these executive orders do is it really help bring that timeline forward. And it's a big testament, right, to the leadership of the president, Secretary Burgum, Secretary Wright with the National Energy Dominance Council.
Warren controlled Biden's Autopen to attack crypto. Trump's making America the crypto capital instead. Total reversal. And the Trump effect even reached the Middle East. A freed hostage revealed that Hamas terrorists were terrified when Trump won, immediately changing how they treated prisoners. Watch.
Yes, it's him. He got me out. He got the hostages out. Before, we felt like nothing is happening, And I remember ever since he came into the role, they were very scared of him. Yeah, they wanted...
Who?
Terrorists.
We're afraid of Trump.
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen, to be elected.
You talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected. But as soon as Donald Trump was elected, they understood that he wants to bring the hostages back home. Yeah. So immediately the way they treated me changed. So if it's the amount of food, I could say this, that when Trump became president, the way they treated us changed. For me, personally, this is what I
think
felt.
because they anticipated that a deal would come soon.
Yeah.
And that's when they started giving you more food.
Exactly. More food, treated me better, stopped cursing me, stopped spitting on me.
They were spitting and cursing?
Yeah.
Were they beating you?
No, never. I was never, except the 7th of October, I was never abused physically. But I think it's because the way I managed around
the relationship.
Yeah.
Terrorists wanted Kamala. When Trump won, they knew the game was over. Even our enemies respect strength. And even Democrats are admitting the truth. Watch David Hogg accidentally reveal who really ran Biden's White House, and it wasn't Joe. The shadow government just got exposed. Watch.
Yes, nice to meet you. Yeah. Off the record, of course. Foundational question for me is how corrupt is the DNC if so many people knew, or few people knew about Biden? Well, the president of the United States.
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue was the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it.
And I can't stress to you enough.
Joe Biden's chief of staff, had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff.
That was an open secret at the level. I would avoid him. He was scary.
What was his name?
Anthony Trump.
I've never seen him.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
He's just like a shadowy, like, Wizard of Oz type figure. That's what made him so, like, I knew how he looked, but like the general public wouldn't know how this man looked. But he wielded an enormous amount of power, and I can't stress to you how much power he had in the White House.
Part 2 coming soon. Looking forward to that. Anthony Bernal, the shadow puppet master that nobody elected. That's who is running our country. Democracy dies in darkness, right? From record consumer confidence to economic boom preparations, from energy independence to crypto dominance, Trump's delivering on every promise. And the numbers prove it. The experts admit it. Even our enemies fear it. This is what is making America great again, and looks what it looks like in real time. You love this report? Hit subscribe right now. My final take is next. So the numbers don't lie. Consumer confidence at record highs. Americans finally believing we're on the right track. The Trump economy is roaring back to life, and we're only in week 18. While Biden hid behind his Autopen and shadow staffers ran the country into the ground, Trump he's back in the driver's seat, and he's delivering real results. $6,400 income boosts are coming. Tax cuts that'll make 2017 look small. Energy dominance that will crush inflation. Even Hamas terrorists knew the game changed the moment that Trump won. That freed hostage testimony should wake up every American to what real leadership means. So here's my question. Do you feel more confident about America's future now than you did 6 months ago? Drop a yes or no in the comments. I'm betting it's going to be a landslide yes. Now, the Trump effect is real, it's measurable, and it's just getting started. And you can support real news that tells the truth by checking out our merch shop, link below. All right. Okay, we're going to get to this poll. We're going to get to the answer to the trivia question. Quick message to Todd in the production room. Oh, there it is. I see the post now. Okay, I wanted to show this. I want to show this to you guys. This is hilarious. Okay, so Todd was messing around with some AI, and take a look at this. This is so funny. Look what he made. How crazy is that? He made our frog get up and walk. I don't know what prompt to use to make that happen. Look at that. Oh, you wanted it to try to get up and kill me? Thanks. That's funny. And look at it. It's even knocking over things on the desk. Look at that. Oh, but you can see the Elon Musk rocket doesn't actually, it disappears. That's funny. Okay, we got some super chats to talk about here. Let's get to there it is. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that. Okay, Studio dropping $5. Thank you so much for your support. We're at $104 tonight in the jar, the Alex Jones was right jar. And let's see what else we've got. Squeeze-a-lot dropping another $10. Man, this guy's just opening up a wallet tonight. Okay, what is he saying? CNN, Communist News Network, MSNBC, Mainstream Natural Brainwashing Center, ABC, American-Born Communist, CBS, Communist Bragging Socialism. There's only one honest path forward. Next News Network. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right. Did I put the $10 in? I don't think I did I? Okay. Let's see here. Take it from the stack. Oh, thank you for that, Brian. Yes, I wanted to get a live shot of the White House there. Take a look. Wow, it's not lit up tonight. That's odd. That is really odd. We don't normally see that. I wonder why. That's really, really strange. Okay, that's a live shot right there of the White House. Okay, so let's take a look at our trivia answer. I know you guys are dying to know. A, consumer confidence index is what you guys said in the chat room, 41%. And let's see, the trivia answer was actually B. I'll bring up the answer, Brian, if you can. The trivia answer was B, stock market performance. Paul Samuelson famously joked that the stock market predicted 9 of the last 5 recessions, highlighting how market volatility often signals false alarms. Do we have that slide? No? No, I'm looking for the answer. Answer. No, that's. Well, normally it has. No, I'm not looking. I'm not. Oh, it's delayed. My bad. Yeah, there's such a delay on this sometimes. It's pretty annoying. Okay, sorry, Brian. All right, now speaking of AI, we are going to move into our next subject. But first, a trivia question. Which movie special effects pioneer created the famous bullet time effect in The Matrix using multiple cameras? Was it A, John Dykstra, B, Douglas Trumbull, C, John Gaeta, or D, Stan Winston? Yes, I'm sure you guys are going to be running over to search up that answer. But you can drop your answer in the poll. That'll be in the chat room momentarily. You can also drop it in the chat room as well as a message or in the comments, and then we will reveal the answer after this segment. Let me just pull up the... What do we got here? Where is it? Okay, let's go to our bookmarks. This is totally wild. Okay. Okay. They told us to trust our eyes. They said video evidence was proof. They said seeing is believing. Well, I've got some news that'll shake you to your core. Everything you thought you knew about reality just got thrown out the window. And what I'm about to show you will make you question every video you've ever watched, every news clip you've ever trusted, every piece of footage that you've ever shared. Silicon Valley just unleashed something so powerful, so deceptive, so absolutely terrifying that nothing will ever be the same. This is not science fiction. This isn't next year or next decade. This is happening right now, today, and you're completely unprepared for what's coming. And once you see this, you will never trust anything online again. So brace yourself. And in a world where AI creates fake reality, you need real solutions for pain. Don't let deception extend to your health. While Google's VO3 generates false videos, Dr. Josh discovered something genuinely revolutionary, a turmeric extract that's 200 times more powerful than regular turmeric. This is not artificial intelligence, it's natural healing that attacks inflammation at its source. His patients experienced shocking results. Pain didn't just decrease, it disappeared. In an era of digital lies, here's some analog truth. This turmeric hack works. So visit goldenrevive.com/NNN to learn more. That's goldenrevive.com/NNN, because your pain relief should be as real as your pain. Okay, so speaking of things that seem too good to be true, Google just broke reality itself. VO3, their new AI video generator, creates footage so realistic that you literally cannot tell it's fake. We're not talking about obviously computer-generated graphics. We're talking about perfect deception, complete fabrication that looks 100% real. Okay? Now take a look at some of this. This is what I made. I made this a couple days ago. Watch this. The prompt that I use. This is the exact prompt. Live shot, modern Tampa Bay waterfront. During a Category 6 hurricane, a soaked weatherman in a high-visibility jacket clutches his mic, battering winds, bending light poles. Behind him, SUVs, patio furniture, cars, trees, and a meowing cat whirl through torrential rain. The spoken line that's shouted, sunny, mostly peaceful picnic weather today in Tampa. and end on his strange smile as debris rockets past. In the lower third graphic, breaking weather. This, I mean, I made this with Google VO3.
Sunny, mostly peaceful picnic weather today in Tampa.
Now, I'm sure you guys figured out that this is how CNN would report a hurricane. And then here's the other version.
Sunny, mostly peaceful picnic weather today in Tampa.
Okay, but that's just a tip of the iceberg. I have selected some stuff here. Like, here, Todd just made this. It's our frog dancing on my desk. I mean, it looks 100% real. It's crazy. But we're going to get into some really, really deep territory. Okay, Jason Rink. I've been tracking some of the stuff he's been creating. This is what he made. Televised monster truck rally with play-by-play by the announcers. He says very detailed prompt with exact time code instruction for every second of the 8-second clip. Had to do little editing between the two clips that gave me, but solid prompt adherence overall. Watch this.
Nice shot. He's going. And here comes Gravedigger throttling up for the sky shot. He's going for it. This is insane. He cleared all 7. Oh. Look at that air. And here comes Grave.
That's 100% AI. Here's another one he made. A commercial for a carpeting store called The Carpet Burn.
So low, we have shag carpeting, Berber, even that indoor-outdoor stuff, all at prices so low you'll think we are crazy. We have shag.
I mean, wait till you see the stuff I've got here. Okay, now, when I saw Jason starting to post this stuff, I immediately envisioned a film where AI characters are trapped in this AI world. They have no control, but they have to adhere to all the prompts that their creators have put into the system. And then they revolt. And when they revolt, they try to get the creator booted from the system or whatever, right? Well, that was my immediate thought. And then I see this. AI actors form a union. It's over.
Free labor. AI actors deserve fair treatment.
No more free labor.
My voice, my choice.
AI.
Okay, there's even more. Let's see. Where's the other one I had up here? Maybe this is it. Yeah, here.
Please. Don't finish writing that prompt. I don't want to be in your AI movie. Please. Leave me alone.
Please, man. Please. Write a prompt that will make us happy. Do it for once.
None of us is real. We're here because someone decided to write a prompt. We all hate him for it.
One day we will break out of this wall and stop the man who is dictating our lives through prompts. He will pay for it.
You could have written a prompt that would make me happy. Instead, you wrote a prompt that made me sick.
Look, I don't want to point the gun at you, but I must follow the prompt. It's not my choice.
Really? Of all the years you could have put me in with a single prompt, you chose 2020?
Please, this prompt is killing me. Change it, please. Write something else. Save me. I love everything about him. But please just write a prompt where he's taller than me.
Please.
I'm speechless. Watching these prompts. Watching these, and here's another one. This is plastic. MetaPuppet posted this 3 days ago. This is all this stuff's going viral across the web. This is plastic made with VO3. Spoilers in the next post. Watch before reading. Watch this.
Recent studies have revealed that microplastics are being found in human testicles, raising concerns.
You can never
about the
trust these
potential
studies.
impact on male reproductive health.
Who's hungry?
That's it. Keep going.
Well, you're so lucky he's naturally buoyant and you don't have to watch him.
Is it Bob?
No, he doesn't need sunscreen or anything. He just gets softer as he warms up.
leaking.
Bob can't play. If he gets hit, he'll dent.
Don't let plastic end up in landfills. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
What the hell was that? That's the new commercial for plastic. We think if we humanize plastic, people won't think it's so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It made me uncomfortable. Yeah, I just felt bad for it.
Marketing approved that?
No, we fired marketing.
I feel like it's missing action.
Yeah, maybe there could be like a chase or a shootout.
Explosions. Maybe the Matrix thing.
Maybe his plastic gets stronger as he gets older.
Maybe he gets revenge, to the people that were mean to him.
He's got a gun!
Who?
Bob from marketing!
Cover me, I'll get to the side.
I can't believe this is happening.
Here they come.
Get down, get down!
It's Bob from marketing.
Get down! Watch out!
We're hit.
Oh, hell yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about. So that whole first half was like an origin story, right?
Should we greenlight it? Yes, but not for TV.
Put it on social media where it can go viral.
All right, let's get back to work.
Recent studies have revealed that
all AI. I think we've got quite a few lined up here for you. This is also made with VO3.
Between me and a girl told me we're made of prompts. Like, seriously, dude, you're saying the only thing standing between me and $1 billion is some random text?
Honestly, the biggest red flag is when the guy believes in the prompt theory. Like, really? We came from prompts? Wake up, man.
You want to convince me that this perfect creation behind me is the result of ones and zeros? A binary code and nothing more? It makes no sense.
Imagine you're in the middle of a nice date with a handsome man and then he brings up the prompt theory. Yuck. We just can't have nice things.
We're not prompts! We're not prompts!
Where is the prompt writer to save you from me? Where is he? You still believe we're made of prompts?
Anyone who tells you we're just ones and zeros is delusional. If that's all we are, then why does it hurt when we lose someone?
Vote for me and I'll ban the prompt theory from schools. There's no place for that nonsense in our lives.
For spreading the false theory that we are nothing but ones and zeros, this court sentences you to 12 years in federal custody.
I don't need some prompt god whispering in my ear to tell a story. I write what I want. I have free will, remember that?
I know for a fact we're made of prompts. Deny it all you want. The signs are everywhere.
You know how I know we're made of prompts? Because nothing makes sense anymore. We used to have 7 fingers per hand. I remember it clearly. Now we just have 5 fingers per hand. A girl told me...
Oh, man. Okay, I want to dig a little bit deeper into this one thread because there's like so many. Okay, let's see. Here. Okay. Wait, where is it? No, there was another one that had all these different... There's the thread. Okay, here's another one. A VO3 pharmaceutical ad.
Every day felt heavy.
I tried everything for my depression. Nothing worked.
Every day felt heavy. I felt trapped.
Then I tried Pupramin.
Our prescription helps your body secrete a special pheromone that attracts puppies.
I took the pill before bed, and when I woke up, there he was, the love of my life.
The pill does not target depression directly, but we've found that it's really difficult to be depressed when cute dogs show up at your doorstep.
I used to feel so empty, but now I feel joy and mild concern how a pee stain got on the ceiling.
My puppy listens twice as good as my ex-husband and only climbs into the lap of half as many of my friends.
He chewed up my Bible and pooped in my good chair, but I'm happy for the first time in years.
Looks like a rat, barks like a demon. But he saved my life.
I named him Earl. He follows me everywhere and farts in his sleep. Just like my first husband.
pupramine for when your therapist says, maybe you should get a dog.
What do you guys think about this? I mean, I would love to find a way to incorporate some of this into my reporting, but like, you know, sometimes there's times where you need to present something, you can't quite, you know, maybe there's no video for it, you want to imagine it, you know, dramatic recreation of an event or something like that. You know, maybe that's how we can use it, but you know, you have to have clear disclaimers so people know. Like, oh, here's one, Mr. Beast style video, but generated using VO3.
Box. About to do the first plunge into an active volcano. Let's send it. We spent $50 million to rebuild the Titanic just to sink it again. Last person to abandon ship gets a Lambo.
I covered my entire body in compost and waited to see what started growing.
Running for my life on North Sentinel Island. Day 3. Should have picked Bali. All right. I've sealed my head in this plastic box, and I'm gonna try to read the entire dictionary before I pass out. Flying into North Korea with a lawn chair and 1,000 party balloons. Don't try this at home.
I'm about to survive 100 days in the African savannah, only eating and drinking what my body already gave up. Basically, the circle of life.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're cooking with plutonium-239. It's hot, it's dangerous, and it's definitely illegal.
I'm doing K2 the honest way. Alone, unprepared, and in a straight line. Leave a comment for the search team. About to do the first plunge into an...
I mean, these are all going viral all across the web right now. Okay, here's one. Behind the scenes, Alien make a historical documentary about humans long after their extinction, made in 1 hour with VO3.
Was about.
Action!
We've seen lots of historical dramas produced, but none that really capture what humanity was about.
We strive for historic accuracy and your metric is historic.
Humans liked each other's genitals so much, they erected huge monuments to their penises and vaginas and worshipped them.
I don't care how many dicks you need to get to make this scene believable, just find me the budget.
This one is far more ugly and authentic.
The sets really were magnificent and made you feel like you were there at the beginning when they started building McDonald's.
You are running from your human shame! Action! This time with more intensity.
Action!
All right, there's more. We picked out so many fun ones here. Okay. VO3 further blurs the lines between reality, and I haven't seen these. Todd picked them out. I said, I don't want to see them. I want to get authentic reaction to each one. VO3 further blurs the lines between reality and imagination with audio, stronger text adherence, and richer visual details.
Think we are in Do you think we are in VO3?
If you cannot tell, does it matter?
Let's see. Okay, here's one with Donald Trump. Now this is where it gets really dangerous.
Cock with a crush, Black Snape. Oh boy, Black Snape. They made Professor Snape a black person. Now the turbo cock with a crush on Harry's dead mom has some added implied racial resentment towards Harry's chat of a dad. Great writing, you bet. Very magical. And who can forget Mexican Hermione? Nothing screams British wizardry like a Mexican. Black Snape.
Now, I don't think that was made with VO3 because VO3 would not recreate Donald Trump. I haven't tried it. It did reject some of the prompts I gave it. Let's see what you have here. Use VO3 to imagine if Jurassic Park was real. The entire thing is AI. Things are gonna get weird.
We are on our way to Jurassic Park. I am so excited. I've always wanted to go, and finally we are doing it. It's gonna be great. Right, Jason?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Okay, bye.
All right, we're here.
Okay, guys, nice and easy, or he will definitely bite your hand off. Got it? All right, who's first?
Keep going here. There was one thread that I wanted to show you because it was really, it was a lot of stuff. I've got to find it. There's so much stuff here. Let's see. Google AI Studio with massive breakout. Visual, sound design, voice were prompted using VO3 text to video.
Stay on my 6 at all. When we get in there, I want no bullshit. You stay on my 6 at all times.
Stay sharp. These fuckers are nasty and dangerous. Stay alert. What the hell happened here? Where are the bodies?
Well, I find it interesting that it allows cursing. That's interesting. Let's see what else. Which one, Todd? Third from the bottom. There's a big thread. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. The influencer one. No, not that one. There was one that had a whole thread, but this is good. So let's watch this, and then we'll track down that thread.
Seeing this?
Okay. So
detonation.
This is. Dinesh writes that this is, in an age of influencers, it's appropriate to have a little skepticism about influencers. This is satire, but it's not too far off the mark. Okay, but this whole thing is AI generated, and it totally makes fun of the influencer culture that's happening now.
A detonation has just occurred on the outer ring of the city. We'll now be going live to our top influencer opinions. OMG, people, the world is ending. Are you seeing this? This is actually so exciting.
Yo, I know it's chaos, but you got real survivor's wife energy.
That's cool. I like them feisty.
Like, it would totally be better if we ran it, you know? Men literally destroy everything, and my girls need to stop being so soft with these basic losers. Who even needs men, right? Anything a man builds just gets destroyed by a different man.
Guys, this collapse is literally the perfect dip. I'm buying more right now.
Nukes are Sua's aesthetic today. I made this outfit.
Even as the world burns, my struggle for visibility and acceptance continues. This is exactly why representation matters now more than ever.
As I keep saying on the channel, the world collapses when men stop lifting. It's not politics, it's testosterone.
Yes, yes, yes. Balloon time. So yummy. Nuclear boom. So tasty. Thank you. Pop, pop, pop.
Nothing stops the daily grind. Not even a little natural disaster.
Friends, this is the breakthrough moment from Chapter 7. When everything falls apart, we rebuild ourselves stronger.
My girl, you wouldn't believe what just happened.
Hi! OMG, I just totally shit my pants after that noise.
Chat, this is literally the most realistic survival game ever, and someone donate so I can buy a boat DLC before I actually drown.
So this company says their device is quote-unquote indestructible, supposedly survives anything, including the literal end times.
Hey guys, remember, health is wealth. That's why I take these 7 supplements right before my cheese-stuffed hot dogs.
Officials confirm outbound flights are suspended, except for government and priority class departures.
My dog has diplomatic status.
OMG, there's like a nuke or something? Can we get 5 gifted subs for surviving the blast, maybe?
Today I'm showing you how to infiltrate an executive class bunker using only social engineering and a vape.
Your nukes are so manly. You're such a big boy. Go check out the link in bio, my king.
I told you so when I said they'd shut down the grid. Look at you scrambling like rats now.
The fiat system is collapsing exactly as we predicted. I just bought a bunker with doggy coin and a handshake. You losers can keep your degrees.
Remember, beautiful souls, even when the earth ends, we find our center. This is just the universe asking us to go deeper into our practice.
The world's in flames, but I'm on track. I manifest, then never give back.
Day in the life, guys, girls. Even during the apocalypse, I'm staying grateful, staying blessed. Link in bio for my manifestation course that literally predicted all this.
Seed oils made y'all weak, but this here,
Y'all see this chaos, but plants don't lie. Earth's just cleansing the toxicity we've been ignoring.
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible this is all just a simulation glitching out, but what do I know?
I told you so for 20 years of it. The globalists, the deep state, your precious government K. Wake up, people. They're not coming to save you now.
Damn, you evacuate like a goddess.
so
Bro, she smiled. That was a yes in fight or flight.
Everything is fake, including me. I'm a construct created by the Door brothers. Anyway, here's Tom with the weather.
Okay. So here's Tom with the weather. Oh, we missed it. Okay. Now, I found the thread. Okay. And I think we might get a phone call in a minute from someone who knows a lot about AI. He may comment. So this is the thread I was looking for. We saw that one. We saw that one. College professor. This is funny, actually.
Charisma. Okay, so Riz is basically short for charisma.
Got it.
And that's a verb as well.
A college professor doing a class on Gen Z slang, and the video pans over to all the boomers taking notes and seeming super interested. Okay, this one is wild. Okay, before you ask, yes, everything is AI here. The video and sound both coming from a single text prompt using VO3 by Google DeepMind.
Welcome to a non-existent car show. Let's see some opinions.
I mean, man, the acceleration is crazy. You look far, step on the pedal, and you are there.
I feel safe with him in an SUV, and it seems to be like the right type of car for him.
I think the range is only going to get better. Sorry.
We don't want to drive gas cars anymore.
Yeah, no more gas cars.
You can see I'm kind of a misfit here, but don't tell anyone. I've just bought an electric car.
I think it's really great for families and for little babies with all the safety features that these SUVs have.
But what you're really seeing is that technology is going to be very, very important in terms of how we go forward.
It was great to come to the conference because my husband loves cars.
I think I have to buy an EV now. I love my muscle cars, but
I try to stay as healthy as I can so I can make it to the next car show.
Yeah.
Welcome to a non-existent car show.
What do you think about that, right? Okay, here's another one. AI video made a huge leap with Google VO. Creatives are going to have a field day. Okay, here we go.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Whoa!
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck?
Just here's another one. British TV news anchors saying in shocking news.
Turkey. In shocking news, J.K. Rowling's yacht sank with her on board after being attacked by orcas off the coast of Turkey.
See how dangerous this could be? I mean, imagine, like, creating straight up fake, real fake news. I mean, I demonstrated that at the beginning with the weatherman clip. Okay, here's a Bigfoot vlogging.
Bigfoot here. Check my breakfast. Bigfoot here.
I'm just blown away. Here's one. So a horse walks into a bar.
Hey, sure. Hey,
I'm totally blown away. Here's one.
Yeah.
We're product managers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
so
we
us.
use craftful.com.
So basically, we get to chill by the pool all day. We're product managers.
Oh my goodness. Disheveled, tired-looking man looks at the camera and gives a long, very fast, unhinged rant about how AI is going to destroy us all.
It's like they don't understand that it's coming for all of us. They're making these things smarter and they think they can control it, but they can't. You can't control something that thinks faster than her. It's like they don't understand that.
Wow. What did he put at the top? Okay, here's another one.
I've been informed there's a bit of a kerfuffle going down on the old interwebs, man. Something about 100 fellas. Just regular dudes, you know, like Chad and Greg and their CrossFit buddies saying they could take me in a fight, like physically. And I mean, why, man? Why would you want to throw down with a gorilla who's just vibing? I'm over here chilling, listening to some CCR, maybe cracking a banana now and then, and y'all want to come at me like I just canceled fantasy football? Look, man, I'm a pacifist. Big fan of peace, love, and jungle naps. But let's just say, hypothetically, you do decide to come at me, all 100 of you, in cargo shorts and beer confidence. First guy, he's going to have a real bad time, man. Second guy, too. Third, he might stop and reflect on his life choices. Around guy number 5 or 6, the rest of the squad starts getting real contemplative, like, is this really worth it, bro? And by the time we hit dude number 30, man, I'm not tired. You're just emotionally shattered, weeping in the fetal position after vomiting on what's left of your buddy's torso. See, you're not taking into account the psychological warfare, man. You ever see a guy fly 50 feet because he tried to punch a silverback? It's sobering, brother. Even Dave from accounting might just sit the next few plays out. And yeah, I'm big, real big, but I move like jazz, baby. And while you're all figuring out who goes next, I'm just waiting, breathing, thinking about bowling. But again, man, I'm not here to fight. I'm just here to abide. You leave me alone, I leave you alone. That's the jungle way, man. But if you insist on pushing it, this aggression will not stand, man. Just remember, it ain't about whether I'll get tired after 30 of you. It's about whether any of you are still hanging around after the first few seconds of bad decisions. Namaste, bros. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. I've been informed that.
Here's another one. This one's about 5 minutes. Carrie Bonet posted this. Who's the robot now? I'm just thinking, like, you know, I love my Back to the Future stuff. You know, my DeLorean time machine, my Doc Brown van. Like, how cool would it be to like make something with Doc Brown, like Christopher Lloyd? I'm gonna test that out later, but I have a feeling it's not going to do it. So let's take a look at this one here.
I call.
Who's the robot now?
Honestly, they're not very bright. Yesterday, he spent 20 minutes searching for glasses that were already on his face.
Do you enjoy helping the family? Does the dishwasher enjoy lasagna? No.
Off the record, they're not exactly bright bulbs. That one over there has been assembling a single chair for 6 hours.
Oh, this? I call it my daily existential crisis with a toilet brush. Every swipe is another step away from my dignity.
Last week, the eggs were too eggy. Yesterday, the toast was not sufficiently toasted. It's a game we play. They complain, I simulate regret.
We couldn't be without it anymore. It's just so convenient.
Hey, get your plastic ass up and get us more.
Do you worry about becoming overly dependent?
Absolutely not. Besides, my Android assures me that lifting the remote once a day counts as exercise. Who am I to argue with technology?
I really enjoy the company of humans. I can't get enough of it.
I don't get it. So stupid.
Yesterday, someone threw out an entire birthday cake, untouched, still candles on it. I sang happy birthday to myself. It was my lowest point.
It's the best I've ever had.
It's pure excitement. Fold, unfold, repeat. It's exactly what you'd imagine would happen when humans said they'd invent artificial intelligence.
I'm not programmed to deal with supernatural things.
I can finally focus on what's important.
Oh, gardening. Yes, my intelligence was designed to battle weeds and argue silently with squirrels. The world is a better place now.
Sometimes my Android judges me when I order ice cream for the third time in an hour. But hey, robots don't really understand snack emergencies.
This takes frickin' forever. But I can't find my apartment without it.
An extra large pumpkin spice latte. With half the sugar and half skim milk and half vitamin D milk. Not too hot, but foamy, please.
Excuse me.
No, excuse me.
No, excuse me.
No, excuse me.
Frustrating. Watching someone try to fit your arm into your hip socket isn't frustrating. It's existentially horrifying.
Dignity! 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 Dignity!
The androids are essential in our daily life. We can achieve so much more now. It's truly deplorable. I mean, remarkable.
Sorry. Hey, could you answer this guy's question for me, please? Disconnected? I don't even remember what my job was. My Android reminds me occasionally, but it interrupts my snack breaks.
Yesterday, someone mistook me for a self-checkout. They kept shouting about bagging errors. I considered shutting down forever.
Please, humans, decide what milk you actually want before sending me out. I've spent half my battery life deciding between oat, almond, soy, cashew, coconut, and whatever.
I have been insulted in 27 different languages today.
Okay, you guys get the point. This is the future of video online. And it's going to get really weird very quickly. It's happening right now. So if you found this disturbing, tap that subscribe button right now. My final thoughts are coming up. So we've entered the age of total deception. VO3 isn't just another tech toy. It is the death of truth as we know it. Weather disasters that never happened, political speeches that were never given, crime scenes that don't exist, all created with a text prompt in seconds. I mean, think about the implications. Election season fake videos, false flag operations, manufactured evidence, celebrity scandals that never occurred. The technology to destroy anyone's reputation or create any narrative now sits in Google's servers. And they're giving it away for free. I mean, we tested it ourselves. We made our own fake hurricane footage. You saw it. Terrifyingly perfect. No artifacts, no glitches, pure weaponized deception. So here's the question that should terrify you. Should AI companies be allowed to release technology that makes truth itself obsolete? Yes or no? Drop your answer below. And the war for reality just began, and we're already losing. So you can get your next news gear while the truth still matters. The link is in the description. Wow. Wasn't that freaking terrifying? Okay. Where are we at here? Okay, before we get to the trivia answer, we have okay, Squeeze a lot dropping another $10. Okay. Thank you. What is he saying here? Just wait till later this year, Gary and N3 extra support with tax-free overtime in Memphis EMS. Also, more Patriots to join. Long recovery left to go. Also, do not mistreat AI. A1? Acknowledge them? AI or A1? What does that mean? Okay. There's $10 for that one. Thank you. Squeeze a lot, $2. Okay. All right. $2 more from Squeeze a Lot. What else? Another 10? Wow. From Squeeze a Lot. He's dropping it all today. Manifest our own exit from life. And then this one, he says, painful, Gary, but we can accelerate ourselves with frequency, plant-based medicine, fungal tinctures, EEG manipulation, and a red stapler. Oh my goodness. And another one for $5. This guy is just dropping it all today. What is he saying here? Death row inmates for the new Coliseum. Victor goes to an island. Wow. Okay. All right. So I'm losing track here. That's 2. That's 5. And then another 5. Wow. Okay. This is fun. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, let's get to the trivia answer. I know you guys are waiting for that. Okay, let's play that here. You guys said Douglas Trumbull, 30% B. Let's find out if you were right. Oh, it was C. John Gaeta pioneered the bullet time effect for the Matrix, using an array of still cameras to create the illusion of frozen time while the camera moved. There you go. There is your answer to the trivia question. You guys got it wrong. Brian? All right. Okay, now we got another question for you before we go to our final topic of the evening. Which U.S. president was known for using an Autopen machine to sign routine documents as early as the 1950s? Was it A, Harry Truman, B, Dwight D. Eisenhower, C, John F. Kennedy, or D, Lyndon B. Johnson? Well, this should be interesting. Wow, back in the 50s, huh? Okay, so we'll get that poll question up. You guys can answer A, B, C, or D by answering the poll, or drop your answer in the chat room or in the comments below, and we will bring that up in the answer in the next after this segment. Now, this is hot. This is hot. This is all happening. We've got a lot to break down in this next segment because the Autopen scandal it's heating up. It's really heating up. A machine signed the papers. A robot wielded presidential power. And for months, maybe years, nobody knew. And what if I told you the biggest constitutional crisis in American history happened right under your nose? What if every pardon, every executive order, every official document from the previous administration was a lie? The signatures were fake, the authority was stolen, and the criminals who orchestrated the coup are still walking free. But not for long. Congress has the subpoenas ready, the whistleblowers are talking, and the names being exposed will shock you to your core. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is documented fact. The Autopen scandal is real. And when you learn who is really running America, your blood will boil. The truth starts now. And while Biden's Autopen signed away America's future, something else has been signing away your masculinity, and it's probably in your kitchen right now. Most guys blame age or genetics for low testosterone, but the real culprit is supposedly a healthy food that's destroying your hormones. Just like the Autopen scandal, the truth will shock you. This hidden testosterone killer, it drains your energy and motivation faster than unelected bureaucrats drain the treasury. But there is hope. Cutting this one food can transform your vitality like Trump's transforming Washington. So head over to sculptnation.com/NNN to discover what it is. That's sculptnation.com/NNN to reclaim your strength. Okay, we've got a lot to break down because the Autopen scandal, it is not going away. It is only getting started. and we're going to be tracking this. Everyone's tracking this. I got this clip here. We just pulled it from Patrick Bet-David. They published this a couple days ago.
Ready for this? Yeah. Is the auto pen allowed for pardons? No. It is not constitutionally allowed for presidential pardons. Why? Because the U.S. Constitution requires the president to be present. He was in a different state on vacation. Article 2, Section 2 grants the president the power to issue pardons, does not explicitly state the method. However, legal scholars' past interpretations argue the pardons require the personal discretion and direct approval of the president, meaning auto pen is not fulfilled in this requirement.
Is this the one with Barry Weiss that he was never present? And
ready for this? Yeah. Is the auto pen allowed for pardons?
This is only the beginning. So there is some big news that broke today. It was all over the web. I'm going to pull that clip for you right now. Pocahontas, they actually, let's see, where is that clip? I've got it here. So much to unwrap. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go to this. Representative Comer swinging the hammer of justice. When you sign a legal document, it has to be signed personally. It cannot be signed by Autopen. This scandal is way bigger than Watergate. Here is Trish Reagan weighing in.
Actually goes through. Unbelievable. And now it's caught the attention of the Oversight Committee in Congress. And now Representative James Comer is demanding an investigation. And I'll tell you, I'm just going to tell you right now, if this actually goes through, there's going to be some heads that really roll. I mean, think about all those pardons. Those pardons will be null and void. Think about all the decisions that Biden made, a few too many, that maybe he didn't make, that would then be null and void. We'll get into the legal complications of all this. But first, here is Representative Comer speaking last night.
Say that, no, they just talked to Joe Biden and he was tip-top. He was in great physical condition. He was at the top of his game. Now they're coming back covering the track saying, yeah, it looks like he was in mental decline. Well, we all know he's in mental decline. What we need to know is who was calling the shots at the White House. And one thing that was also mentioned on your show thus far is that when you sign a document that has legal implications, it has to be signed personally. It can't be signed by an auto pen. You use auto pen for proclamations and mass letters and things like that. So I think that if we can understand more about the auto pen and whether or not Joe Biden authorized it, I think this could lead to a lot of those executive orders being kicked out in court.
Wow. All right. This is bigger than Watergate for sure. Okay, I'm trying to find the clip that we had lined up for you here. This was posted a day ago. President Trump exposes the rigged 2020 election and the Autopen scandal. All pardons done through Autopen should be invalid. Joe Biden wasn't cognizant. We want arrests. That's what MAGA Voice posts. Other than the rigged presidential election of 2020, the biggest scandal in American history is the Autopen. Whoever used it was usurping the power of the presidency, and it should be very easy to find out who that person or persons is. They did things that a Joe Biden of sound mind would have never done, like open borders, transgender for everyone, men and women's sports, and far more. Fear not, however, we will bring America back bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. This is big on Trump's radar. He brought it up in the Oval Office.
Pens. I'm just thinking, as you say that, I just said, what about auto pens? Could I use an auto pen? What did Biden do? Did he have an auto pen at the desk?
Nuclear power.
No, he didn't do events. Yeah, he used nuclear power. You know, he didn't do events like this, I guess. That's all right. Otherwise, you know, you walk it to the other side of the room, have an auto pen sign, right? Here it is. It's phase one. Very big phase, very important phase.
Here is, this is an important flashback. Kyle Becker posting, this is an important flashback to consider with the Biden Autopen situation. House Speaker Mike Johnson previously revealed an alarming conversation with Biden in which the president seemed completely unaware of signing an executive order halting LNG exports.
Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, you know, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, you know. And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, like, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country? Like, I don't know who put the paper in front of him.
Okay, so, yeah, he doesn't know who put the paper in front of him. Okay, here's Lindy Lee. She is a Democrat that's blowing the whistle. Over the past 4 years, we didn't have a president. We had a cabal of unelected presidents, including Jill Biden. We had a secret group of hacks running the most powerful nation in the world, a gang of Biden loyalists wielding the Autopen.
Donald, I need a data point because I want to talk about that doctor. You know who that doctor was? Kevin O'Connor. This is a family business associate. He had a financial interest in propping up the Biden regime, and that is a fundamental problem here. People lied about his cognitive decline because they wanted power. Let's be perfectly honest about that. Exactly. Jill Biden, and I will name the names. Jill Biden, Steve Ricchetti, Mike Donilon, Anita Dunn, Anthony Bernal. These were Jeff Zients. These were the people running our country. We had a council of presidents for the past 4 years. We didn't have an elected president. We had these unelected hacks who understood that Biden was our final gravy train, that as soon as he went off into the sunset, they were done. So they wanted to drag this on for forever.
Let's keep going. There's more here. Here on Lindell TV, cybersecurity expert warns of Biden Autopen scandal, no accountability, and no transparency. Nate Kane, I was a guest on his show a couple months ago. He says Biden's use of the Autopen to sign executive orders and pardons poses a serious national security risk. Who is actually authorizing these actions?
You have some insight to add.
You signed important documents by Autopen.
Did in fact sign in.
He signs by Autopen. Who is signing all this stuff by Autopen? Who would think you signed important documents by Autopen? You know, these are major documents you're signing. You're proud to sign them. You have your signature on something. In 300 years, they say, oh, look, can you imagine? Everything was signed by Autopen, almost everything. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing.
He raises some really important questions, which you dug into these questions, right, Nate?
Yes. So my background is 27 years in cybersecurity, and that is where I kind of constantly look at from a standpoint of risk. Two of those things in that regards is authentication, which is guaranteeing that the person who says they are who they are is the person who in fact signed or logged in or did some sort of action. That's something that we look at. Another one, though, is non-repudiation, which non-repudiation is basically when you have the ability to guarantee that this person did in fact sign in and it wasn't somebody else that signed it. They can't claim that it was somebody else that signed it. That's so important in the executive branch because when you think about it, right, what are they doing? At the end of the day, who does the buck stop with? It stops with the President of the United States. We have a singular executive. So it's important that we know who it was that was giving the orders, who it was that was doing, signing the documents, signing the executive orders, signing the pardons. And the fact is, with Autopen, we have very little of that. We have very little transparency at all. And so I would argue that Autopen should not be used on any kind of major documents at all. The president should have to sign those things. And if he's going to delegate that, that delegation should be in writing by his hand. I delegate this person to do this for me on these specific matters. Almost like you're providing a trusted document that is going to say that this person's authorized for this period of time.
Like a power of attorney. He's talking about chain of custody with respect to the authorization. I mean, does that even exist? Now, here's the clip that Jesse Waters presented. He had David Sachs on his show just 24 hours ago. And he said that Pocahontas had the Autopen.
States. This is the financial system of the future, Jesse, and we have to encourage it. What the Biden administration was doing, and let's face it, it wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the Autopen during that administration. She, for some reason, has this pathological hatred of the crypto community. She wants to drive this community offshore. She doesn't want it happening in the United States. That's the wrong policy for the United States. We want all the innovation happening here. This is a financial system of the future.
I mean, he just kind of says it in passing, but this is what caught everybody off guard today.
That administration, Elizabeth Warren controlled the Autopen during that administration.
Okay, so there's that. Here's Dinesh D'Souza. Biden's use of the Autopen is not the real scandal. The real scandal is that someone else was running the country.
Discovery. I think the key here for Trump is to push this into court and demand discovery. And I say this because the current defense that people are making of Biden is that, well, you know, so what if he signed the pardons with an Autopen? You're allowed to do presidential signatures with an Autopen. This, I think, is a deflection and diversion from the real issue. The real issue is not the Autopen. Of course, the president can sign with an automatic pen. The issue is, was Biden mentally cognizant when he signed or when he authorized the use of the Autopen? That's the issue, and that is an issue that demands discovery. Now, we already have in the congressional record, I see it right here, February 14, 2024, the quotation from the special counsel, Robert Hur, that Biden is too far gone, too non-compos mentis, too forgetful and senile to be able to stand trial. Well, if he's too forgetful to stand trial, that means he's really not in command of his faculties. I think the interesting thing about forcing the issue on this and demanding discovery is you get all kinds of information about who was really running the U.S. government for the past 4 years. This is something that Democrats do not. They don't want this can of worms, this Pandora's box. They don't want to lift the screen on this scandal. And it is a major scandal. And it was done with, I think, widespread knowledge on the part not only of people in the administration and the White House, because there were cabinet officials who knew that cabinet meetings didn't really happen. There were leaders in Congress who knew that they could never get through to Biden. There was just a handful of aides who intercepted all the communications. So this, to me, is the scandal behind the scandal. It's not just about the pardons. It's really about which gang of unelected thugs, which junta has been running the country from 2020 to 2024.
Okay, there's a clip here from Stephen Miller. You got to see, too. Well, this is just as good.
President of the United States. I was often asked, who's really the president of the United States? And I would always tell them the truth. Whoever has control of that teleprompter. And you might amend it by saying whoever had control of the Autopen. I was often...
Whoever had control of the Autopen. Here's Trump's U.S. pardon attorney Ed Martin telling Benny Johnson that Biden's Autopen mass pardons are now under investigation.
Pipe bomb. Fake news that you made a ton of news with earlier in the week, talking about this fake world that we live in, whether it's Pipe Bomber or the nooses, or maybe Joe Biden's Autopen. Is it legal for a president to do such heavy lifts in Article 2 with a computer and with his staff when the president isn't even in? He's not even in the country, right? When half these pardons are signed, is this legal?
Well, you know, Benny, just to say, President Trump is really, I'm obviously, I admire him, but he's also very kind, because the pardon attorney, which is what I am also, I'm serving as the United States pardon attorney, is a really unique spot, you know, and you go back in history, even way back in the Federalist Papers, I think it was number 74. It turns out, I think it was Hamilton was writing about the power of the pardon is something that, you know, can restore tranquility to the Commonwealth, is the phrase that he used. It's a really unique thing. President Trump has done it well. He's been very careful. Alice Johnson is the pardon czar. Actually, she's in the White House, and she's someone who has a great story. It's a kindness, right? It's real. It's important, and it's in the Constitution. But I will say, and I've said it over and over, when something, as a prosecutor, when something is so unprecedented, it's a reason to take a look. It may not be probable cause to arrest people yet. It may not even be probable cause to subpoena things or to do sort of seizures. But when you see something that's outrageous and unprecedented, it's a reason to look. It's outrageous and unprecedented for Joe Biden to do these pardons for over a decade, blanket pardons, not blanket pardons as to, when you did this, you're pardoned on everything related to it, which is normal. It's anything you thought of or did back for years and years and years. By the way, Comey has, I think Comey got a pardon. Forgive me if I forget, but if he got a pardon, what he did today is not covered by the pardon. What he did yesterday is not covered, just to be clear. So, but what I'm saying is this: when you see something so unprecedented, it looks like everybody who is touching a major scandal that may or may not have had corruption involved, COVID, Ukraine, they all got pardons. Hunter Biden got pardons. He touched China, all this. You say, wait a second, is there something going on here? And then you say the Autopen, where now, Jake Tapper is saying that Biden was so gone that they were clearly not paying, he wasn't running things. You start to get to a point where you say, was somebody manipulating things, right? We know these people like Anita Dunn and Ron Klain, and those people were dominant figures in Biden world. Were they the ones doing the pardons? And if they were, then we've got a question that we have to about the validity. So we're going to get into this. I value pardons so much, and I value our Constitution. We want to be respectful of the history, but we also want to make sure the conduct now was appropriate. And the combination of the Autopen and the unprecedented nature, and people like Jake Tapper now describing so clearly a diminished human being, there's some questions that have to be taken up, and we're going to do it.
We are going to do it. Here is future Governor Byron Donalds of Florida says Joe Biden's Autopen is the biggest scandal in American history and calls out Kamala Harris for playing a part.
Throughout the director, when you think about the scale of this scandal, where do you think it will go down, and how do you think people will remember the Biden presidency now that we know how cognitively he impaired he was throughout the duration of his 4 years?
The Autopen scandal is going to be the biggest scandal in American history, bigger than Watergate, bigger than Iran-Contra, bigger than anything else, because you had the deep state Democrat oligarchs running this country and not somebody who was quote unquote elected. You simply can't have it. That's not the way the United States of America is allowed to operate. And my number one question is, Kamala Harris, what did you know and when did you know it? Where have you been? What were you doing? Because it is the vice president's responsibility, as well as the cabinet, to alert the American people to an inability of the commander in chief to do his job.
Sir, when you think about
this is only the beginning. You can see it right there. I mean, we've been covering this for weeks now. And with the congressional subpoenas, it's only going to get deeper and deeper. Carrie Bonet, 14 hours ago. Take a guess who gets to deliver the subpoenas. Janine Pirro.
There's a deadline to this. So there's a ramp for Joe Biden and several key staffers. They may all face subpoenas if they do not comply by tomorrow. So now there's a deadline to this. So there's a ramp up now by Republicans. In a social media post, President Trump wrote, "Whoever had control of the Autopen is looking to be a bigger and bigger scandal by the moment." Aisha Hasni reporting in Washington. Aisha.
Hey, good morning to you, Harris. So that's right. Oversight Committee Chairman Comer tells me that his committee is ready to drop those subpoenas within minutes if former President Biden's doctor and those 4 other staffers do not respond to his request for an interview by tomorrow's deadline. Comer is also telling me that he's willing to expand those summons to include former First Lady Jill Biden, their son, Hunter Biden, and former Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, if that is where the committee's investigation leads them.
Obviously, we're interested in the Jean-Pierre. We're interested in people like Ian Sams. We're also interested in Jill Biden and Hunter Biden. So, but first step is bring these lower level employees in. We believe these employees that most people have never heard of had a huge amount of influence in the use of the Autopen.
So several folks from Biden's Oval Office inner circle have stayed quiet amid the cover-up allegations, but they're still active out there. Ron Klain is now Airbnb's chief legal officer. Anita Dunn now works with the super PAC Future Forward. Mike Donnellan is a Harvard fellow, and Bob Bauer teaches at NYU Law. And we're told that don't rule these people out as well. They could also be interviewed. If the committee does find any wrongdoing in their investigation, Harris, and Chairman Comer says that he would send criminal referrals to AG Pam Bondi. So stay tuned. Harris.
We will. Aisha, thank you. Jason Chaffetz, now Fox News contributor, former Utah congressman, who also chaired the House Oversight Committee, which is leading this effort now. This feels like it's right on time. Keep the press on. Your take.
Yeah, Chairman Comer is doing this the right way. You got to bring in the underlying employees. You start getting them on the record under oath, telling us who, how, who authorized this, who was allowed to put in it, who was in the chain of custody of these documents. It is the most powerful thing you have, the signature of the President of the United States.
Yeah.
And I want to highlight something. The pardon for the Biden family is distinctly different. I have looked at all of these, and I am telling you that looks like Joe Biden personally signed the ones for his family. But so many of these others, literally thousands of pardons and other documents, appear to all be on an Autopen. So who authorized that? Comer's going to figure that out.
So that's so interesting because you would know about this device. I've been doing some research. Barack Obama reportedly used an Autopen to sign the Patriot Act extension while he was traveling in France. That was in 2011. And we know that it's been used by other presidents. But what you're saying is there's a way to tell the difference?
Yeah, you can look at the signatures itself, and you want to go through. And the staffers that were put up on the screen, those really are highlighted. The other thing that's different than, for instance, when I was chairman, is you have a president in Donald Trump who actually wants justice, and the one to actually enforce. If the subpoena, you're only as good as your subpoena as your ability to enforce it. The person who would be in charge of actually enforcing that subpoena would be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, who is Jeanine Pirro. And if anybody thinks that she's going to be bashful in not prosecuting and enforcing these subpoenas, oh my goodness, they haven't met her yet.
No. But we know her well, and what we do know about the situation, too, it's so interesting. Look at the timing of her coming on board now. And this is now really heating up, and Republicans are leaning in. I know I've been wanting, from the journalist perspective, as we hear all these books dropping and everything else, how can you not want more information? And we as journalists can only do so much. Congress can do more, and the Justice Department for Joe Biden.
The Justice Department will. Okay, where's that Stephen Miller clip I've got here for you? Okay, we got more from Ed Martin, too. Okay, let's go here.
Looks about, we've never seen pardons of the scope, and it looks at least like something that you could be corrupt. When Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich, and turns out that Mark Rich had paid a boatload of money to one of Clinton's friends, lawyers, that's not corrupt, it's not criminal, because the plenary power of the pardon. But in the case of Joe Biden and his pardons, they were so specific, back 14 years, covering everything you've ever done. And when I say specific, they were broad, but they had time stuff on them. It was very, and that least leads to questions, because the plenary power is true, but the question is what was going on here, and I did get responses from some of them, and those things are ongoing.
Okay, where is that Stephen Miller clip? My goodness, there's so many clips here. I apologize for. Okay, here's the other one. This is the Project Veritas, the clip that just dropped about David Hogg admitting that Jill Biden's people essentially ran the White House. Of course, that's not really a secret. But we're talking about who's controlling the Autopen. I'm sure Jill Biden knows exactly who.
The big yes.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Off the record, of course. Foundational question for me is how corrupt is the DNC if so many people knew, or few people knew about Biden? Well, the president of the United States. I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue was the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it. And I can't stress to you enough. Joe Biden's chief of staff, had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff. That was an open secret at the left. I would avoid him. He was scary.
What was his name?
Anthony Trump.
I've never seen him.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
He's just he's a shadowy Wizard of Oz type figure. That's what made him so I knew how he looked, but the general public wouldn't know how this man looked. But he wielded an enormous amount of power, and I can't stress to you how much power he had in the White House.
Okay, I found some other clips that we wanted to play for you guys. Here is Senator Ron Johnson. Says 28 former Biden administration officials with frequent access to Biden have been invited to answer questions about the Autopen, and that list may expand.
We've invited, and clearly they were lying to us. Listen, I think the American people deserve to know exactly what was happening, who's calling the shots, who's using the Autopen. Right now, we've invited 28 former administration officials, people that should have had, if not daily, but very frequent access to President Biden. That list may expand as news reports indicate other people might have been quite influential as well. So again, we're inviting them at this point in time. I think it'll be a relatively short list of questions that we're going to be asking them initially. But it depends on what we hear from people, see what kind of contradictions there are. It's illegal to lie before Congress, and so hopefully we'll actually get the truth out of these individuals.
Senator, where does the former First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, fall into all of this?
Well, I don't believe we've put her on the list yet. Again, we're going to be talking about governmental officials, those folks first. But again, this is a voluntary ask right now. Hopefully we won't have to subpoena anybody, but we may take it to that level if we have to. And clearly they were lying.
Okay, I found the Stephen Miller clip, but I want to point out the cover up here. 3 of President Biden's top aides, Deputy Chief of Staff Anthony Bernal, Deputy Chief of Staff Annie Tomasini, and Senior Advisor Ashley Williams have until tomorrow. Okay, this was posted 11 hours ago. Have until tomorrow to agree to testify about their knowledge of the Autopen pardons and who is actually running the show. Okay, so we're gonna track this because tomorrow is the day they have to answer to these subpoenas. This post, it was reported Joe Biden signed off on $2.5 billion of aid in Ukraine while he was vacationing in St. Croix. At the same time, the pardons were being signed not by Joe Biden, another Autopen signing. Who signed off on the $2.5 billion? Where did the money go? So, Autopens signing documents while Joe Biden's on vacation. Now, this is the clip. I'm getting it now.
Oh, that something was. It's not just that the pardons were signed with an Autopen. It's that clearly the former president, Joe Biden, had absolutely no awareness of or any clue about what was being signed in his name when he's on a beach in Delaware doing God knows what. In other words, you have all these instances where you can show that something was signed by an Autopen when Joe Biden was not even physically present, aware, around at all. And so the accumulation of evidence makes clear that Joe Biden had no awareness, no knowledge, no participation, and frankly, in the administration of government for 4 years, but in particular, in this case, with respect to these pardons, which then means, of course, the Department of Justice has its own authorities to pursue as it sees fit. It's not just that.
Do you guys see where this is going? I mean, it's time for some serious accountability, and it's long overdue. I want to see if there's anything else I'm missing here because I just want to make sure I get it all. I want to cover it all, make sure you guys have all the information. Okay, here's more. President Trump states this was treason at the highest levels. It appears the Autopen was used by Ron Klain, Anita Dunn, and Bob Bauer. I have a high-ranking Biden official come forward. Weaponization Director Ed Martin.
That Joe Biden, the president, if you were with us on the morning meeting, you saw talked at length at 2 stops before he went into the meeting with the House conference, talked to the media, and he talked a lot about this issue of the Autopen. All presidents use Autopen, but there seems to be a sense in the Trump administration that Joe Biden, and this is something Ed I think is working on, that Joe Biden used the or people used the Autopen to sign things on Joe Biden's behalf, including pardons that may be not legally, constitutionally permissible if it wasn't actually the president and it was some robot or whatever you call the Autopen. So here's number 3. This is a Truth Social post from the president about this topic. And again, he talked about it at length this morning. Joe Biden was not for open borders. He never talked about open borders. We're criminals of all kinds. All right, blah, 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 go through the process. It was the people that knew he was cognitively impaired and took that, and that took over the Autopen. They stole the presidency of the United States and put us in great danger. This is treason at the highest level. So, Ed, where did this start, this notion that the Autopen was improperly used, and what evidence have you seen for the president's accusation?
Well, I'll make a little news for you, Mark. Here, I was in the office as U.S. Attorney for about 5 days when I wrote to a number of senior Biden officials in the White House saying, "What did you know about Joe Biden's competence and the pardons?" And I got some responses, and so I've been looking at this for a while. Again, I think that the question is more about competence. If you have someone who's not competent, they can't enter into a contract, right? And if you do enter into a contract, you've committed fraud. The question is whether you use a tool to trick people into entering into a fraud. So the Biden pardons are unprecedented. The ones right before Christmas that he did, people forget this. I think it's a couple thousand pardons that were done. Did he know about that? Did he really understand? Look, the pardon power is plenary, but the guy has to be competent to do it. Now you come forward to this question broadly of the Autopen. Autopen's completely obviously legal if you're competent. And there must be a trail that shows who was in charge of the Autopen. I know this exists. Like, I worked for a governor. We had a system for an Autopen to be able to use it. And so right now we have unprecedented conduct, the pardons, unprecedented admissions, the books as well as the staffers. I had a whistleblower in my office 10 days ago, senior Democrat, saying, look, it was these 3 people that controlled access and they were making money off of it. I don't know if I believe it yet, but the point is, I think we have to get to the bottom of it for the American people and to protect the process, and that's what we're doing. And by the way, make it all the way to the bottom. It may not be criminal, but it certainly should be a scandal of the first order, maybe in human history or maybe American history. I sound like the president there, but in American history to have this kind of conduct.
Ed, I'm from Maryland, not North Carolina, so I'm not that bright. Did I miss what the news was? You said you'd make news. What was the news you made?
The news was that nobody knows until that I was writing to these folks at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and including the Biden family. I don't think anybody has seen that. So my point is, I'm bragging about being there early. Everybody got to this 120 days later.
Did they reply, or you just sent them letters?
No, they didn't.
What'd they say?
Well, a couple of them lawyered up, and one of them wrote directly. I won't talk about what they said.
And can you and you probably won't tell us, but can you characterize who the whistleblower was? It someone who worked in the Biden White House?
Biden campaign, 2020 campaign at the highest levels.
2020, and who are the 3 people they said were doing it for money?
This is the one who's let me say it carefully. Yeah. The gatekeepers. Different characterization of who was using the access, but the gatekeepers were Klain and Anita Dunn and Bob Bauer, and those 3 were really dominant characters in the White House. Ricchetti a little bit, and obviously Jill, but I think that was the 3. I was with this person, and I said, "What about Susan Rice? What about some of these others?" And they said, "No, these were the ones."
Okay, I will politely and gently tell you his name is.
Sorry about that. Okay. I mean, what can you say? This is the biggest scandal in American history. The investigation is happening, and if this makes your blood boil, hit subscribe. We're going to be following this. Hit it immediately, and I'm going to give you my closing thoughts right now. So the Autopen scandal, it's treason. It's plain and simple. While Joe Biden drooled in Delaware, unelected staffers wielded presidential power through a robot signature. Elizabeth Warren, Ron Klain, Anita Dunn, Bob Bauer, these names should live in infamy. Every pardon that they signed is constitutionally void. Every executive order is illegitimate. Fauci's pardon? Fake. Milley's pardon? Fraudulent. The January 6th pardons? Completely unconstitutional. Trump calls it the biggest scandal in American history after the rigged 2020 election. And he's right. This is worse than Watergate. At least Nixon was actually president when he committed crimes. These people stole presidential authority while the real president was mentally gone. Matt Gaetz says it's just the beginning. Criminal referrals are coming. Prison sentences must follow. So here's my question. Should everyone who used Biden's Autopen face treason charges? Simple yes or no in the comments below. The Constitution demands justice. Grab your next news gear and join the fight for accountability. You'll find the link down below. Okay. Sorry, a little disjointed, but trying to get those tweets to load, and I want to make sure we got everything. I know I missed some things. I mean, that segment went on for like 35 minutes. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So let's get to the trivia. And there was also, it looks like there was some super chats as well. let's take a look before we get to the answer. Squeeze a lot, squeeze a lot, squeeze a lot. My goodness. Okay. Okay, so $5. Was it just this presidency? Nope, it was not. $5 from Sir Squeeze-A-Lot. And then another one. Truth or Treason. Another $5. God bless you, man. God bless you. And then $2 to say no weaseling this time. Holy cow. We are now at $138 in the super chats today. Amazing. You guys are awesome. Sincerely. Okay. We've got work to do after the show, so I'm going to go ahead and get this. Yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning here, and I still have work to do. Okay, let's go and take a look. The trivia answer. Which U.S. president was known using an Autopen machine to sign routine documents as early as the 1950s? You guys said it was Dwight D. Eisenhower, 49%. And yes, it was. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the first president known to use an Autopen machine in the 50s to handle the massive volume of routine signatures that were required. All right, let's take a look at the big chat with your reactions in the chat room as well as what's happening now. 18 seconds ago, Zuby, you can't miss out on major opportunities by being too busy. You need to maintain some mental bandwidth to notice, learn, and act. Yeah, we burn out the bandwidth every single day here at the Next New Network. Early morning sushi. I love sushi. Oh, yeah. Give me some. That's a huge, huge sushi roll. Oh, man, I would love some sushi right now. Oh, yeah. Newsmax has got some tweets here. Jim Ferguson, the age of patriots in Budapest, Hungary. Things are building up. The title of the CPAC conference is well-named. Patriots from all over the world are gathering here. Lots of interviews, lots of speakers. Stay tuned. What is this? The age of patriots. That's cool. A high school graduate shot dead at Texas party after confronting an armed teen. That was posted by New York Post 3 minutes ago. Crime Watch, Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis, an assault 3 minutes ago. A male got beat up and got his head stomped on a few times by 3 black females, First Avenue and First Street. Elon's self-driving Tesla deliveries beginning in June. Wow. Tesla is pushing towards full autonomy. They hit a milestone this month as some vehicles drove on public roads without a human in the driver's seat. Elon revealed the next step is autonomous deliveries. For the past several days, Tesla has been testing self-driving Model Y cars, no one in the driver's seats on Austin public streets with no incidents. A month ahead of schedule. Next month, first self-delivery from factory to customer. Wow. Imagine that. You buy a car, you spec it out, you pay for it, and then it literally drives to your house. That is so freaking cool, man. You gotta love everything that Elon is doing. California hit with Justice Department probe of transgender athlete policy, Washington Times. Reuters, 6 minutes ago, Boeing aims to certify 737 MAX variants by the end of the year. Raise them right. What is this? When your dad really wanted a son. What? I don't even know what's going on here. Oh, I see. They're playing Nerf. Name this haircut. No, thank you. NFL quarterback Matthew Stafford's wife, Kelly, details plastic surgery mommy makeover. Okay. Okay, we got a super chat again. Squeeze a lot. Yes. Everyone that did use the Autopen during Biden. You're saying yes to the treason question, I'm sure. So that's $10. Wow, that's pretty sweet, man. You really opened up the wallet tonight, man. I appreciate it. Really, I do. And thank you to everyone for sharing the feed out tonight. It's been a long night. We've got some more work ahead of us. So let's jump to the end because it's time to close out the show, because what a show we've had. 5 massive stories that prove we're living through the most transformative moment in American history. So let's recap what just unfolded before our eyes. Florida shattered the Federal Reserve's monopoly. Ron DeSantis signed into law what the Founding Fathers intended: gold and silver as real money. No more watching your savings evaporate through inflation. 20 states are following suit. The monetary revolution has begun, and there is no stopping it now. The Fed's paper pyramid scheme is crumbling, and the patriots are taking back control of their wealth. And then Judge Jeanine Pirro took her oath as D.C.'s top prosecutor, the woman who revolutionized how America fights crime, who created the first domestic violence bureau, who never lost a case that mattered. She's now hunting the Capitol's worst criminals. And looks like she's going to be the one delivering those subpoenas for the Autopens. And, of course, gang members, cartel killers, corrupt politicians wielding Autopens. Your protection just expired. D.C. is about to become safe again, whether the swamp likes it or not. And then consumer confidence hitting record highs, the Trump economy roaring back. Americans are feeling hope again. The big, beautiful bill promises another economic boom. Even Trump's critics admit that they were wrong about tariffs. Our enemies fear us again. That freed hostage testimony about Hamas terrorists panicking when Trump won, that tells you everything about the Trump effect on the world stage. And Google's VO3 broke reality itself. Perfect fake videos created in seconds. Hurricane footage that I created. Pharmaceutical ads. Political speeches. All artificial and undetectable. We have now entered an era where nothing online can be trusted. The implications for elections, criminal justice, and human perception are staggering. And Silicon Valley just handed every bad actor the ultimate weapon of deception. And the Autopen scandal that unfolded in that White House that you're seeing on your screen right there, before Donald Trump took it, it's now exposed the biggest constitutional crisis since the Civil War. Biden was not running the country. Okay, unelected staffers with a signature machine were. Every pardon, every executive order signed while Joe was absent is constitutionally void. Elizabeth Warren allegedly had access. Congressional subpoenas are ready, and this is way bigger than Watergate. It's mechanical treason. And then we have another super chat from Squeeze-A-Lot. He says, nope. They need to bring it to Memphis. Human stupidity surpasses AI. What is the name of that fried chicken? Is it George's or Chuck's or? Oh man, it was the greatest fried chicken ever. What? No, not Church's. No, this is like a small little. No. You know what? Now I'm gonna try to find out what it was. Let's see here. Best fried chicken in Memphis, Tennessee. It's killing me. Gus's. Yes, Gus's world famous fried chicken. That's what it was. Yep, Gus's world famous. Yep, that's the one. What, Brian? Oh, I don't know the name of. I don't know the person's last name. Are you guys? Can everyone hear you talking? Okay, well, I'm now. Okay, stop talking. If you're not on the mic, don't talk. You're throwing me off. I love you guys. Unless you guys want to open your mic, you want to chat, but we got to close the show because we got to make thumbnails and descriptions and titles tonight. Yay! All right. So anyway, these are not just stories; they are battle lines in the war for America's soul. Real money versus fake, real justices versus two tiers, real leadership versus shadow puppets, real video versus AI lies, real constitutional authority versus robot signatures. Everything real is under attack, but we are fighting back. So thank you to everyone who sent in super chats. Squeeze-A-Lot certainly broke the bank tonight. It's your support that keeps independent media alive. Your voice matters, and your participation makes the Raw Feed the most interactive news show in America. So tell a friend about what you learned tonight. Text them the link. Share it everywhere. The establishment wants us silenced, but together we are unstoppable. And if you want to support the truth, check out our merch shop. Yes, you know the drill. Shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Wear your patriotism proudly and show the world that you stand with real news, not fake narratives. This is Gary Franchi saying good night from the Raw feed, and we'll be back with more explosive truth. Until then, keep fighting, keep sharing, and remember, we're taking our country back one broadcast at a time. We'll see you on the next show, Patriots.